All right. Hello and welcome to another Whetstone Wednesday. This week with me, Alex of Copy That. Copy That being the YouTube channel that tries to teach people how to do copywriting and marketing well enough to get paid for it. And we do an okay job of that, we think. So, what is Whetstone Wednesday? If you've not been here before, Whetstone Wednesday, quite simply, is a way for us to review the copy of our Patreon supporters. So if you decide that you enjoy this and you would like some copy reviewed by me or anyone else in the Copy That team, join our Patreon. You can find a link in the description and submit your copy through Discord. The first thing I want to make sure of is that we are live properly and that everyone can hear me, which I think they can. So drop a hello if you're in the chat because we're going to have some fun today. I am ill. Apparently, I can still like function at the moment, which is good, but my mind is close to collapse. So I will do my absolute best for everyone. First of all, let's go through and let's zoom in on all of this. Hello, G-Man. Hello, John. Hello, Diwaz. I'm assuming that means everyone can hear me okay. I saw a couple people in the Discord who hadn't yet put a hadn't yet linked their copy. Unfortunately, if we get to this stage and you haven't linked your copy, I'm not going to open it, especially today, because I am having a hard cut when I have finished reviewing the copy that has been shown. All right. While you guys are doing that and saying hello in the chat, I am just going to put a link to everyone in the Discord just so they can have a look. But also, how is everyone doing? You having a good week? Everything going well for you? Do you have any questions about copywriting that we can answer? Because I will endeavor to answer some questions as we go through today as well. Let me just share this with our Discord, and then we will start in earnest. Hey, Red. Hello, No, which I think is Alex now. I'm assuming you have the same YouTube and Discord name. And allow me just to @ everyone in the announcements channel. Or maybe not there, maybe in general. Boom. Everyone, we're live. Link above. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, it is Alex. Alex, I saw you hadn't actually posted your copy by the time I checked it. But considering you're here, if you now have, I will review it. But I still cannot see it there. So it better be up in the next few minutes, man. No, it's fine. You sure? All right. Very well. We're going to start with this. Context. I wrote a homepage for a hypothetical agency that makes presentation pitch decks for startups. Oh, I have done this a lot. So I'm looking towards this one. It's work in progress, though the bulk of it is completed. I've highlighted some sections yellow. These were sections I couldn't come up with a headline as I felt I'm repeating the same points multiple times. Remember, repetition legitimizes. Not always a bad thing to repeat the same point multiple times. Would appreciate your suggestions here. This homepage goes into my copywriting portfolio, so I'd love any help in making it a solid piece to show off. Ideal reader, startup founders who need help making a presentation deck that lands them a meeting with investors, okay? And the actions to book a consultation call. Here a section. Get top VCs to say yes to your startup. Okay. Let's just break this down. Get top VCs. That makes sense to me if I'm a startup founder. It's something I want. I want venture capital firms to engage with me. So, okay, don't hate that so far. To say yes to your startup. I mean, I'm going to read the whole headline. I'm going to say not bad. Like, it's not the worst kind of way to not dimensionalize it, but it's not the worst way to show that, considering, you know, saying yes in an investor meeting is kind of the whole point. So it's not awful. I don't hate that. I think it could probably be stronger, and we'll get to how in a minute. What do you think of the book Cash Advertising by Drew Eric Whitman? I don't actually think I've ever read Cash Advertising. I can't remember. I read quite a few copybooks at one point after I'd started. After I'd kind of already started getting clients. I can't remember I read that, to be honest. I think people like it. Alternate headline, we create pitch decks that land you meetings with investors. Okay. Pitch decks that get top VCs like Sequoia and A16Z or Z to say yes. one of my first questions is, one, are people going to know who these are if they're startup founders? Are they like extremely well known in the sense of, will they understand who this is? And two, have you actually done that before? Because those are important questions as to whether I would allow that in a headline. Subhead: we create pitch decks that attract the attention of top investors like Sequoia, Capital, and Coastal Ventures. Our pitch decks have helped our clients attract the attention of top investors. Over 300 startups have raised 200 million with decks built by our expert team of consultant VCs, messaging experts, and designers. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, this is made up, isn't it, right? Hypothetical agency. Okay. Well, actually, I mean, maybe you have done all this stuff. Okay. Of all of this stuff right now, I know these are some alts as well, but what actually stands out to me here in headline complex? Well, the reference to VCs for sure. And like, saying yes, like I still think that can be stronger, but that makes sense. This is what stands out to me. Over 300 startups have raised $200 million with decks built by our expert team. Now, I don't know if you've worded that in that way because you want to be clever about how you're saying it, but I would just be saying very directly, we've helped raise $200 million for over 300 startups with our decks, okay? Like with our pitch decks or whatever. That's a really strong piece of proof, and I would definitely have that in your headline complex. I would potentially have, and like I'm just gonna write here as a headline. Imagine if you had $200 million X for startups, right? This idea of $200 million pitch decks or a $200 million pitch deck. Perhaps since you're an agency, one of the things I want to see is examples of your pitch decks, and I want to know why and how you do it differently. So it could be like even like almost an invitation type offer headline, where it would be something along the lines of or discover. Again, I'm fighting a cold and a very, very strong migraine at the moment, so apologies if my speech or writing is not the best. Discover secrets, or discover our 200 million pitch deck secrets we've used to raise capital for over 300 startups. Let's go about our $200 million pitch deck secrets. I'll probably throw that in there because I think that makes it read slightly easier. Discover our $200 million pitch deck secrets that we've used to raise capital for over 300 startups, right? So something like along those lines. Now, that can definitely be cut down and moved around. But yes, we can just talk about how we're a agency that creates startup pitch decks, which I think is fine. It's definitely something we should mention. However, imagine if we reframe this into actually saying, oh, on this page, we're going to teach you about like this stuff. Like you can see how we've done it, and then like cooling all startup founders. Like here's your invitation to work with our pitch deck agency, or whatever. You might want to capitalize all of that, but imagine having that as like eyebrow copy at the top. Boop, 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 boop. And then, I mean, I haven't looked at the rest of the page yet, so I don't know what you're doing. But one thing I've really come to love is VSL for any kind of agency or any kind of like local business page. Honestly, like agencies and like local businesses, I think really benefit from having some kind of like VSL, like some kind of video that people can click and watch. Sean and I are, copy that. We've just launched our own agency. Sean and I recorded a VSL for it the other day. And I'm using a very, very similar like structure to what we're probably going to go with. But all of a sudden, calling all startup founders, here's your invitation. Here's your invitation to work with our pitch deck agency. Discover our $200 million pitch deck secret, or we can say secrets, or just call it, our 200, formula. Probably works slightly better. Discover our $200 million pitch deck formula that we've used to raise capital for over 300 startups. Right? Okay. And I would maybe say, give a specific number, 317. Specificity. We like specificity because it makes it seem even more real. And below, and this is where I talk about kind of agencies, or I talk about local businesses, we want to make sure that we're killing some objections for them and making stuff that's so easy and so obvious immediately. So they know who we're for, and they know what makes us different. They know there's a formula that we use, and the fact we've got evidence. Right. Well, this is now so much more interesting than just saying, we've done this. But what else might be interesting? Well, I'm not going to write any copy. I'm going to write some ideas. It might be interesting to talk about types of businesses we work with. It might be interesting the kind of guarantees. If there's any guarantees for the offer, it might be interesting saying years of experience. It might be interesting talking about, and by interesting, when I say interesting, I mean things that actually matter to the person who are looking at this. What is going to make them click play on that video? What's going to make them go, okay, actually, I really want to have a look now? Types of business they work with, the guarantees, the years they've been doing it, potentially how quickly, sign up speed of delivery. So things around that, which are going to help me kind of overcome objections. Okay, I think I can trust this brand. Potentially, evidence of the VCs that you've spoken about, Sequoia and these guys. You might want to put that here as just a small addendum. We've raised from this for tech, for medical, for whatever. So that is that the best headline complex ever? No, and obviously that's not copy. I'm not saying that's the best headline complex ever, but you can see already how just by using some simple copy guidelines of, well, how can we make this more unique? How can we make this more interesting? How can we make this more immediately relevant? This suddenly has become much stronger. I'll leave that there for you if you want to use that. So in terms of the copy you've written, the reason I wanted to do this is just to show you what can be done just by thinking of, and I know this only took me a few minutes, of course, but what can be done just by thinking of how to make the copy itself more impactful straight away. Do I hate what you've got? I don't hate it because it's direct. And I think being direct as an agency, I think is quite a good thing. But it's certainly not the strongest it could be. And I don't think it's front loading what is the most interesting thing. And I think the most interesting thing is you've raised over $200 million and you have 317 startups, right? Or 300 startups. Someone, Dushyant said the new videos, which you guys are pulling out, have some insane levels of quality, production as well as information. Genuinely impressed by what you guys are doing. Thanks, Dushyant. Appreciate that. That's our brilliant video editor, Noah, who's doing that. And then also our brilliant man, Sean, who is just coming up with fantastic scripts and ideas. What did I do recently? I scripted the Is Freelance Copywriting Dead in 2025. I did that one. But yeah, we are putting more effort into those videos. Is the objection bit a subheadline? Yeah, effectively. So imagine this maybe a few ticks or something like that, or maybe some icons here just to show the things that matter most. So yeah, effectively, a bit of a subheadline. So you've got eyebrow copy, headline, then subhead. That's just one way you could do it, but I think that makes it more interesting than what you've currently got. So you kind of mini builders, right? Get funny to scale your startup. See, that to me is redundant because that's already implied in the whole headline. It's yeah, of course, that's the whole point of it. So that's just a redundant bullet. So I'd rather use proof or objection killers down here. Build instant credibility with VCs and angel investors. Yeah, you could argue that's okay because instant credibility might be one of the things they're worried about. Feel secure in your startup's future. Not, again, 1 and 3 there are just not doing anything for me because I feel like that's kind of generic. Think about replacing it with, these things here. Okay. Only 10% of startup pitch decks get investor attention. You built a product, you built a business, but now you're expected to build a world-class pitch deck too. Every week, investors sift through 25 to 30 decks. Most never get a second glance. You've probably already spent countless hours putting your deck together, changing fonts, reworking slides, doubting every word. At the back of your mind, you're wondering, shouldn't I be spending this time actually growing my startup? Don't worry, we'll take the weight off your shoulder and get your deck noticed. I don't hate that. I think that's all right. I think that's a I think that's a fair. I'm usually not a fan starting with statistics because I feel like they're a bit of a cop out. But like I think in this case, considering like the reader is actively comparing themselves to other startups, I think that makes sense and I think that's fine. So I don't mind that at all. Yeah, you built a product, you built a business, but now you're supposed to build a world-class pitch deck. Yep, I think that's good. I think that's good. I don't think there's any wasted copy here. I like that. I like that as a start. However, one thing I would say is consider changing this into a VSL that you put up here. That's what I would consider because this videos are so much more likely to be clicked and like watched the first few seconds than people scrolling down. Okay. A copy of that stream that isn't at 3 a.m. Is it my birthday? I always try and do these streams earlier. Usually I would be doing it even earlier than this, whenever it's my one. Hey, Alex, does your Incubator program offer guidance on becoming a creative strategist, or is it solely focused on copywriting? Oh, good question. It would definitely offer guidance as a creative strategist because I do creative strategy and I talk about that a lot. However, we are currently changing what the Incubator program is going to be, and I think we're kind of changing the future of copy. That we're going to move away potentially from like the high ticket offers we have had, and we're going to make something completely new starting from 2026. More information to follow on that. So yeah, for like new people who like aren't in the Incubator yet, you'll have like potentially something different to go into. This copy looks really good. I liked the start of that. I think as a script, I think that would be decent. Potentially could be dialed in a little bit. But broadly speaking, I think, that's a good idea. And I think it's well executed. Sean's streams start at 3 p.m. and end at 3 a.m. He likes to go for a long time on these. Whetstone Wednesdays for me, I so rarely have time around them because almost always on Wednesdays, I'm so busy with like client work and meetings that I can never do them. I try and do them as early as possible, and I can usually never go over because almost always after Whetstone Wednesday, I have a meeting, which is why mine usually stop. Where Sean doesn't do any work, so he's got all the time in the world. I'm obviously joking. Our team of consultants, VCs, messaging experts, and designers will build a deck that uniquely positions your startup in your marketplace, no matter how crowded or competitive it is. We use the same process that's helped 300. Okay, right. I'm going to stop you there. What process? This is why I did my headline the way I did. I want to know what the process is. I need to see some evidence that, like, oh well, why do you do it differently? Why are you all so good? I have a whole system in my head for how to create pitch decks that I actually feel like I might. You know what? This might have convinced me to start a pitch deck agency at some point because I actually love creating pitch decks. And I have a whole system for how to create them, and I have a good track record with them. I might do that anyway. But point is, I want to know how your process is different for creating this. Why are you really good where others fail? Why can't we do this? And so often it's because the founders are too close to their business, and you need someone who can look from the outside and recognize what other people are going to recognize in it. Remember, the people who are going to be investing in you are not involved with your business. Therefore, you also need someone who's not involved with your business to figure out what they're going to like, because they're outside of it too. To drop it. Okay, 3 pitch deck masterclass requests. All right, I will at some point. Oh, dude, no, I know that wasn't a dig. Don't worry, I did not take it like that. Okay, 4 pitch deck masterclass requests. All right, keep them coming, guys. I might end up doing one. So what I want to see here is some kind of differentiation between you and other agencies who might offer this, or us. Like why I can't do this myself. Why are you good at it? I know you said you've got experts, but okay, what does that matter? Is there a process you follow? Is it a specific method? Is it the 3-pillar system, which is something that we've just done for our agency? You got to tell me what it is. Here's what you get when you work with us: a deck that books meetings. So we'll build you a deck for storytelling designs for investors that you can schedule a meeting. Present like a seasoned founder. Our pitch coaching will teach you the exact presentation is used by founders. Okay, see, now this I would front load up here because I didn't even know about that. Like, this is something I'd be like, as a bonus, like, plus get our like, private like pitch coaching, or like plus get a free pitch, a free access to a free course on pitching or something like that, up there. Like, oh wow, that's really good. Maybe I really should have a look at what these guys have to offer. Yeah, okay, 3 simple steps, fine. Like, I want to know what's going on, so that's fine. What you get when you work with us: story crafting, financial slides, custom visual designs. And again, this is what I wouldn't necessarily what you get when you work with us. I would say like what's in the perfect deck, and I would have a section which actually like lays out images of like, okay, you need the best story. One thing that I always say, here you go, here's a mini masterclass for you guys. So often, like for pitch decks, so often investors are not investing because of their financials. Obviously that comes into it, but usually investors are investing because they imagine themselves talking about your startup at their next dinner. They imagine being at a ball or taking their wife out with their friends, or, going somewhere with their husband and like being able to say, oh, I've just invested in this really cool company. Let me tell you about it. And if your pitch deck can reflect a really quick story that they can tell as to why it's such a massive opportunity, they're more likely to invest in you. I don't just want to hear about how, hey, this pharmacy tech platform is going to make ordering medicine easier because the UI is really good. I don't want to hear about that. What I want to hear about, this is a true story. This is a narrative I came up with in a successful pitch for a pitch deck. What I want to hear is you've got Uber for taxis. You've got Airbnb for hotels. You've got Amazon for e-commerce. You've got Monzo for banking. Why is there still one titanic industry which has not been digitized? And they're like, oh, and you say pharmacy, and this was in the UK specifically, but pharmacy is a bigger market in the UK than smartphones. Okay, that's true. More people spend money a year on pharmacy, on prescriptions and buying stuff from pharmacies than they do on smartphone contracts. Why has that not been digitized? Why has it not been made easier? Well, simple reason. Where Airbnb and where Uber succeeded by taking cars that already existed and assets that already existed and people's houses that already existed, and then turned them into, hey, you can come here and use this as a service. You can come here and stay here, or you can be taken to your destination. No one's done that for pharmacy. People have tried. Amazon have tried to launch a pharmacy like themselves where they build everything from scratch, but it's so difficult because you're starting in such a dominated market. Pharmacy is the lifeblood of the world because everyone, eventually at some point in their life has to use a pharmacy. This isn't like, oh, I never take taxis. This isn't a, oh yeah, I don't really order stuff from online. This isn't a, oh yeah, no, I don't really buy online coaching. This is, oh shit, yeah, okay, medicine. I need to get a prescription. I need to go to a pharmacy. And as it stands, people have been doing it all wrong. They have been trying to get into pharmacy by building a whole pharmacy themselves. Don't do that. Do what Uber did. Do what Airbnb did. Do what Amazon did, like with initial retailers. Go to the pharmacies that already exist, where the lists already are, where the traffic already is, where the footfall already exists, and digitize them. Don't try and build your own pharmacy. Don't try and build an online pharmacy. Digitize the local pharmacies that already have 30 million people going through them every couple of weeks. That's what we need to do. And that story of like, we've kind of presented something which is, like, oh shit, wow, no one's ever really thought about this before. Yeah, shit, what a massive opportunity we're sitting on. And I imagine the investor at dinner saying that story to someone else and saying, oh, I bet you've never thought about this. And like, this is why have no one ever done it with health? It's because everyone's doing it the wrong way. But this platform, this company, they have it. They have got the sweet spot. Anyway, I just kind of, I went off on one there. Sorry, that wasn't actually reviewing the copy. But yeah, I would, what is in a good pitch deck? And then I would have images that represent it, and then an explanation of why. I want to feel like you actually have a system that I'm relying on here. Your service is expensive. I would delete this because you're not even talking about price, right? Like I would just get rid of this. 'Cause you're not even talking about price yet. You might want to say like, oh, you know, why startup, like why founder decks tend to fail. You can have a section around that because that makes sense. You can work into the VSL, but I wouldn't be talking about expensiveness because you want someone to book a call first of all. All right, but yeah, no, overall like decent. I think there's good ideas here. Obviously, I've given you some specific ideas, but like that is kind of, that's what I would say for this. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if you're in the chat, whoever did this. Oh crap. There's a lot of messages that's come through. Need a pitch deck. I've kind of just given everyone a pitch deck masterclass. There you go. I will try and do a proper one at some point. How do you know which persuasion tactic to use in the copy? There seem to be almost too many options in just one copy. That's a massive question. You do research and you figure out, you spit draft what you want to say first of all, and then say it in the most simple, basic form. Only use a specific technique if there's a reason to. Do you know about the weird wine experiment? They replaced the price tag of the cheapest wine to the most expensive one, and suddenly people say it's great. Question below. So is something really good because it is really good or because people say so? If Sean secretly added his copy here, would you be able to distinguish it or simply go? So is something really good because it is really good or because people say so? If Sean secretly added his copy here, would you be able to distinguish it or simply go ahead and rip it apart? I would definitely be able to distinguish it because we don't. I mean, like just here, I didn't go through this and rip this to shreds. I went like, oh, there's some good ideas here. You know, I don't know who wrote this, but I said, oh, there's some good ideas here, but you need to change this thing or think about this. I'm not just going, oh, someone submitted this, therefore it must be shit, so I'm going to rip it apart. I'm thinking critically about, well, how can we make this fundamentally more attention grabbing and interesting to talk about? And again, something that would happen if Sean came on and looked at this, he would go, oh, okay, I like your thinking, but let's improve this. Then he would change it. I'd come back on and I go, oh, okay, I like that, but let me like, here's a few tweaks I could suggest. You could get 10 copywriters in a room and you get 12 different opinions. Okay. That we don't know what's going to work fully. No one does, but good copywriters tend to think in a similar kind of way, tend to have a general idea of like, oh, that sense of direction seems like it's going to be pretty good. So we can all add little tweaks, but ultimately the big things that make a difference, you know, having a clear call out, using a mechanism to show, you know, implying there's a mechanism here that makes it specific and interesting, referring to the proof immediately, picking up big objection killers. Not many great copywriters can look at that and go like, oh, that's shit, that's never going to work. They might say, oh, I think we could maybe do this better by doing this or changing this thing. So all copywriters are going to have different opinions. But to answer your question, no. Like just because someone submits doesn't mean we're going to rip it apart. And there's been plenty of instances in Whetstone Wednesdays where we've said, oh, this is really great copy. Here's a few tweaks I'd suggest, but well done. Nice beard. I mean, this is not a beard. This is just a lack of hygiene. I've just not shaved in a week, so I need to do that at some point. What even is a pitch desk? A pitch deck is something that you show to investors or potential investors to help them decide if they want to either have a meeting with you. So you send it out to them in an email and they'll go through it, or it's what you present in the meeting to kind of try and convince them to start the process of investing in you. Also, can you make a video on where to find clients right now? I'm using Apollo. What do you think? Does it work? Should I be looking elsewhere? Cheyenne, have you watched our 22-hour video? Which I just see someone has said. So thank you, Arav. Any people were asked to rate a dish and they point out multiple things to the TV. Okay, right, we've done that. How do you know you are thinking critically and the copy doesn't need a value edit? I mean, this is just kind of like, these are questions just around like, how do you know a thing? So I'm not really sure I can answer that. I just know it because of the experience I've had, and I am critiquing it based on a system that I have learnt around value edits, function edits, and line edits. And I'm thinking about the people who are going to be reading this and if they'd be interested. I don't really know how else I can answer that question. That it just comes with experience. Let's have Sean and Alex review each other. Sean and I review each other's copy all the time. Like whenever we finish something, we hand it over to someone else and we say, hey, can you look at this? I'll give you a specific example right now. Where is this going to be? No, it's in my other drive. Here we go. And it's funny because here we go. It's funny because it's something that we've been doing. I just reviewed this, and it's interesting. Like the reason this is in my head is because like this is very similar to something we've just landed on for our own agency. So So yeah, like this is copy that Sean and I share with each other, because like this is what I started with. I just started with a really simple, like I had this idea of like Dirty ad agency. Dirty was just a placeholder for something else. I wanted to make it something, but I was like, oh, okay, we're going to say what we are, and we're going to say we're an ad agency, who we are, we're calling it how we are, but I want something here, the something ad agency for e-commerce brands, then with specific proof. Sean looked at that and he went, hey, how about like these ones? Like, how about we change this more into talking about the angle itself rather than just about the fact that we're an agency? So copy and paste our proprietary creative ad strategy that's generated this much. But I was like, I want it to be more about like, so then he came back with that. And then I was like, I still wanted to mention like something around, like our ad agency, the fact it's our ad agency. So then like I kind of come back with like this thing, and then he reviewed it again and we spoke about it a bit more. And then I settled on like this, which was like for e-commerce. So again, making it obvious we're an agency, making it obvious we're calling out to you, but for e-commerce stores whose ads have ground to a halt, I still haven't decided exactly which one I want to put on there. Something like that. Shape to your brand, implement our 3-pillar creative ad strategy that has generated 820 million for clients so far. Copy that agency is looking for e-com stores who want to scale, watch video below, So now we've got those things that we decided, are useful. So that was me and Sean reviewing each other's copy and going back and forth on what we're doing. Is this the best thing ever? No, probably not. But like, it's something that we can get out there and is okay. And then obviously this was like a VSL script that, again, I wrote the first draft off. Sean came back and reviewed, and then blah blah. So we review our copy all the time. And if you're in the incubator, you'll have seen me and Sean do that as well. Opinion certainly plays into how good you think something is, but if food tastes like shit, you'll hate it even if you know it got around to it. I think that's a pretty good point. Something Sean often says is, like, as copywriters, we don't know what's going to work necessarily, but we usually are pretty good at knowing what's not going to work, which is it's just as useful. But yeah, could you talk more about how I could add a mechanism here? Sure. So the $200 million pitch deck, right? That's the kind of the opening, the foot in the door of the mechanism. This is like what you've named your proprietary system, right? Like the 200 million pitch deck formula, right? That is your unique mechanism. That is the unique mechanism you have. That's the thing that you are going to be using, the mechanism you're going to be employing to help them achieve the benefit, right? So what you would want to have is a section on this page that said, what is our $200 million pitch deck formula, for example. And then that just says this is something, there are loads of ways to do this, but the basics are, you need to say this is something we've crafted over like this number of years. And it's, we've perfected it by generating this much money for this number of startups. And it's divided into 4 simple sections. Okay. So, oh God, I'm revealing so much right now, but one thing I'm doing, in the VSL me and Sean just filmed, and I still need to film this bit, but I am creating this this doc to share in the middle of it and film, and the unique mechanism that we have are IP, our big thing. We're talking about the 3 pillars of effective creative strategy. There are 3 pillars to it. So we talk about how we've got this creative strategy, but now I need to actually explain what the 3 pillars are. Now, you don't need to give away the farm. You don't need to tell them everything and exactly how to do it, but you need to break it up into for example, you had story, right? So that could be one element of it, right? You need a good story. Like I said, a dinner story. You need a dinner story. What is that? Well, that is something that people would, want to tell their friends at dinner, their investor friends at dinner. We've perfected the art of coming up with this through this system. And you can even put another system in there if you want it. You just say oh, this is how, we do it. You don't need to give away the farm. You don't need to tell every single step, but just say, we craft your story by using the dinner date formula or whatever. You don't have to reveal everything, but it's just, that becomes part of your unique mechanism. And then I don't know, layman finances. Okay. So getting your finances across in a way that makes sense to people who want a deep dive, but that shows the biggest points of contrast in how far you've come or something. And then like the presentation coaching, right? That could be another big thing. Like that's the formula you get. You say, you know, people get so obsessed with the deck, they forget that it also comes in how you present it or how you email it or how you send it. Right, there you go. There's 3 parts to your like unique mechanism of the 200 million pitch deck formula. You explain a little bit of what each thing is, and then you tease out like, you know, yep, you could learn all this yourself and go through the years of trial and error, or just let us do it for you. That's exactly what I do on in this one. I say, you know, yeah, you can learn all this stuff, blah blah blah, but you know, I think in the end I just say, yeah, you could either try to build everything yourself, or you could hire a crap agency, or just let us do it for you. Right, so it's kind of that. Hopefully that makes sense. Seeing it as an actual piece of copy. Is that a question for me? I hate migraines and I hate overstress. I don't know if I can be asked to tackle that question right now. Maybe later if we have time, but I still have so much copy to get through. Alex taught on cold email campaign to target school educational facility decision makers in order to get leads for a construction company. Oh, Alex, thoughts on cold email campaign to target school educational facility decision makers. Yeah, like if you guys have done school buildings and playgrounds and things before, nothing wrong with that. Like, go for it, man. You don't. Yeah, sorry. There we go. You don't review on the channel though. Oh, like Sean and I review each other's channel. I mean, would there be any reason for that? Like, we can, but like, I don't think that's going to be very. It's basically just going to be this, but like less stuff wrong with it, and it's going to be more opinions from different copywriters, which I think is going to be worse for you guys. I feel like it's much better to see potentially not very good copy going to, okay, here's how you can fix these things, rather than, hey, let's tweak these to try and make it good. I don't think it would be that. Did you practice talking to clients, or does it automatically get better every time? It definitely gets better every time. I used to hate talking to clients and calling people and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely practice. $20 million, damn, yeah, that's how much the Copy That team combined have earned for through our marketing campaigns over the years. Not for Copy That, might I add. Even with all your marketing know-how and proof of driving millions, do you still deal with imposter syndrome at times? Not really. Like, not now. Imposter syndrome never really hit me too hard, to be honest, because I just think early on I adopted this idea of like, I'm just going to do the best I can, and like, you know, I know more than them, I know more than the business, so fucking I'm going to try. Now I'm definitely more than confident enough to be like, if there's something I don't know, I'm just going to assume like, well, that not many people know it then, because I've been around so much. And I'm not embarrassed to say I don't know something now. I'm like, oh shit, there's a new thing. I'm going to learn that then. So I don't really get it anymore. Definitely gets better as you get on. What's something you find helps you when finding the main idea of your copy? IVOC research. Just fucking like, when in doubt, just go back to the basics. Go back to what people are saying, talking about online. Literally just do that. As I've got older, I've realized that simplification is almost always the way to go. Sean doesn't mind. He's a good chap. He doesn't mind me giving away secrets. Am I the only one who feels like everyone has a good copyright already? Lol. I was trying to find SaaS with bad copy on landing pages and emails that seem to have good copy, even ones that just started. Oh man, dude, there's definitely bad copy out there. You've just got to look for it. Like, there definitely is. It might be that you just aren't as good at recognizing it yet. And you know, one service you can offer people is A/B testing. You know, not necessarily replacing everything, but helping them A/B test to find the things that work most. You know, this might be a silly question. Is there a psychological reason why you choose to put 820 million instead of 820 million? Is just for every succinctness, wouldn't laying out numbers and work? I'm not saying it wouldn't work, but I'm just going to ask you guys, which of those is easier to read? Which of those can you immediately understand the meaning of? 820 mm or 820 000 it's going to be mm. Like, it should be mm, because that's way easier for my brain to immediately understand. One thing that I sometimes argue with Sean on is whether it should be mm or just big M. I prefer big M, but like, it's not. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, 820 million, there's so many zeros there that I'm like, is that 820,000? Is that 820 billion? Which could either seem crap or way too exaggerated. So it's just about getting it across in a better way. Act says, brilliant, the unique mechanism making the copy much stronger also made me realize how important they are. Fantastic. I'm glad you think that. Yeah. Again, and like, you know, it doesn't always have to be like a mechanism as such, but like just the USP. What are you doing differently that other agencies can't do? What are you doing differently that the person you're pitching to can't do? Just really important. And so often, again, go back to the basics, the simple thing of let's call out to what we can do that they can't, or what we have done that they haven't. I don't feel as local ones can pay me any good, and no one values copy as much in my country, and I don't know where to find them. You need to stop thinking about just copy. Think about marketing generally. Fuck copy. Okay, fuck copywriting for a second. How can you help a local business make more money? Go and do that for them, and they will pay you. That doesn't mean you have to rewrite their emails. That could mean, oh, can I help you set up like a new leaflet campaign, which involves copy, but also involves some marketing management and fucking getting a bit of design potentially done, or getting someone to help with it, or learning a bit of Canva, or potentially media buying, like structuring, all right, where are you going to place these ads, or which houses are you going to go and post them in? Or do they have a fucking Google business profile, which is really shit and hasn't been optimized? Hey, why not be like, oh, I think I might be able to help get more people to you, or share reviews and things like that, or send some emails. It's not just about copywriting. It's not just about changing what they already have. How can you make more money? So often that's starting new things. Is it okay to softly pitch your course in the first few pages of your lead magnet? Lead magnet's first page is actually a copy that tells benefits of the book, credibility, and then soft pitch for the work. I mean, I can't tell you whether it will work. I can tell you that I know, generally speaking, with lead magnets, you definitely want to mention the offer to people who would be most high intent early on, so they can have a look at it if they want. And if not, they'll just ignore it. So it's fine. Not enough research, better than imposter syndrome, having clear idea, clarity, action. Yeah, like that makes sense. Imposter syndrome definitely goes away with more experience and more research. That's also true. It doesn't need to be your location. It could be like, you know, you can do local businesses in other towns or other countries. And that's definitely true. I'm not really sure what that means. I think that with the 820 million, the fear is the reader will have to go back and reread it or try to figure out what it is. Yeah. 820 if you want to flex, and 820 million if you want to focus on the value created. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that fully, but like I definitely agree with the premise that 820 with not like, you know, 6 zeros, it can feel like if you're trying to make the point of like, oh, there's loads of things, and you want it almost it to be kind of intentionally overwhelming, makes sense. But for us, we just want to communicate really easily, you know, what this is. We don't want there to be any confusion while they're reading the headline. I learned wireframing in Figma, damn, so think about just making businesses more money any way you can. Yeah, like fucking that, you know, no one is going to pay you just like because you know copywriting. You know, the world doesn't owe you shit just because you've watched a 22-hour course. Ultimately, people only pay for what they think they need. And what they think they need is more money. And how can you get them more money? Just fucking ask yourself that. Stop thinking yourself as a copywriter. Start thinking yourself as a money maker. How can I make a business more money? Do those things to make them more money, and they will pay you. Copywriting often comes into that, of course. Hey, do you still build and sell ecom businesses actively? So I consult with ecom businesses now, primarily. I still have equity in a couple of ecom businesses that I kind of help build. I have not built my own in like year and a half now. I will start to do that again with Copy That, like with the team, like we want to do that. But I have mainly been focusing on consulting for other people's businesses and helping them grow. An advanced stuff, click here, and then 2 testimonials in the first page of the magnet. Yeah, sure, do it. You're either full stack or full clown. Yeah, fair enough. I think that's a fair way to say it. I think you definitely can make money just as a copywriter or just as a designer or just as anything. But ultimately, for all you guys who are like, I want to make money and I want to make the most money possible, then you need to do more shit and you need to show that you can make money for businesses. Oh God, that was only one piece of copy. Fuck me. Right. I still have stuff to do after this and I'm going to collapse. Do you think that our messaging hierarchy is good? What should we start with? Testimony, etc. We know we need to test, but we'd like to know what do you think is best to begin with. Do you think we can kill with content we're planning to put out? Can you do too much with the content and become boring to people? Right now, we're mainly interested in the copy. We have some other interesting offers we haven't shared yet. We'll definitely use the free estimate since it's strong, and we think 4+1 free is also very good. We also have a unique option where customers can choose between 5 different fragrance notes for free. No, I have no idea what this is so far. I don't know, no clue what this business is. Towards what audience would you orient yourself if you're in a rug cleaning business? Okay, here we go. Would you be a more specific, or would you try to reach everyone who has a rug? I can't give a clear answer. Demand, research, wisdom. Can you give us regarding what you think is worth pursuing in? He offers that no other company says, "Why do you think we should punish them as much as possible? Most of us also money. Should the cure go?" Okay. I like questions like this because it's about a specific business. Here are the 3 new versions of our website. I think more explanation and context is needed. Main thing is the problem is directly copy, and that's the part we need the most help for. Do you think this approach is good? Okay, well, the first thing I can tell, before I even look at the copy, the first thing I can tell you, if you're in a rug cleaning business, you should be just running Google ads, basically. I wouldn't even fuck with anything else right now. I wouldn't fuck with Facebook. I wouldn't fuck with a lead magnet or organic or SEO. I would just, maybe you could post some SEO pages about like local rug cleaning, but like I would be running people searching for rug cleaning in your local area. That is what I would be doing. Mallow is saying, hey, we thought that Sean will review this, so gave context. Here is some for you. Wait. I am waiting. However, I think I have enough context now that I've read it. Google search ads are the GOAT for any local business. I 100% agree. Hang on. Oh, there's more stuff. Is consulting more profitable than building an e-commerce store? Fucking completely depends how good your e-com store is. Depends how much you charge as a consultant. I have made more money myself with e-commerce but consulting probably will overtake that if I continue just doing consulting for the next year. But long-term e-com store, if you get it right, is going to be more profitable, generally speaking. But consulting is far less stressful, I'll tell you that. Hey, Alex, what's the ad right behind you on the wall? I was trying to look up online while watching the Mecos book. I'm like, oh, shit. So that ad, that one, is a ad for Dr. Shoop's Restorative, which was like a medicine in the early 1900s. And it was written by Claude Hopkins, who wrote Scientific Advertising, which is one of my favorite books ever. And it's not a particularly it's not a famous ad at all. It's not a particularly well-known ad of his. But when I was looking through his ads, it was one that really stuck out to me, and I really like it. And you can't actually quite see the headline, I don't think, very well. But it basically, the headline is, "Here are 1,000 New Yorkers." They wrote to me to get better. And so I don't even know if you could find it. It's in the, what's it called? I don't have my glasses, so I can't even fucking... Oh, no, I do have my glasses. Hang on. One sec. What is that called? The World. Okay, so if you type in the World newspaper and you type in the World newspaper, January 31st, 1903. If you go to the World newspaper, January 31st, 1903, and you go a few pages in, you should find that. If you want to, that's how I got such a clear copy of it. I had to go to the original photocopy of the newspaper and screenshot it and get it out. I like the ad. It's fun. How do we show that we can make money for businesses if we don't have much experience? You need to go and watch the 22-hour course because we talk about that at length in there. So please go and watch that if you haven't already. What's the best ever video or book you've read or watched that seriously helps you write better copy? Scientific Advertising was a big one for sure. Take Their Money by Carl Milligan really helped me in how to think about copy in my head. Even though I don't use his system tons anymore personally, but that really helped me get clear on copy. Gary Bencivenga's retirement seminar was fucking one of the best things I've ever watched. So there you go. There are a few. Big question, but how is helping SaaS businesses as a copywriter different than ecom? I think they are more focused on reducing churn and reducing CAC with increasing free trial conversions. It completely depends on the SaaS. I can't answer that question. Depends on the SaaS, depends on the ecom store. I read your resume and I wasn't able to find the newspaper ad you mentioned. I even searched for the exact words, but still no like. Yeah, there you go. I've told you how to do it now, hopefully. Are Google search ads similar to Meta ads? No, they are based on what people are searching, depending on the kind of Google ads you're using. If you're using like PMax and Google Display Network, obviously they'll just show up for people who are doing stuff on the internet. But Google search ads and shopping ads are for people who are like searching for terms. Thank you, Arev, for talking about that. Okay, I'm going to skip some of these questions because I've explained some of them already and we need to carry on. Carpet cleaning service that looked to sell directly to women, but after Sean reviewed it, we changed the approach. We think that now you know what we are trying to accomplish. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's the first thing is just in terms of strategy, Google Ads. Okay. Number one carpet cleaner in city/county country will make your dirtiest carpet look brand new again. Yeah. Okay. Not bad. Again, like delivering on the big problem I have. The toughest stains removed from carpet of any material, completely clean and dry carpets under 48 hours. Carpets smell fresh and clean the longest. Okay. Google can make you really happy. Know that your favorite carpet is in good hands. Choose between 5 fragrances. You'll have the cleanest carpets in the neighborhood. Your carpets will look better than the day you bought them. Definitely prefer your carpets to look better than the day you bought them. You can choose how your carpets will smell. Like, these are all okay. I would say like this is the kind of thing I would just want to get out there. I think this is absolutely fine. Again, very similar to what I said about the other agency thing, because as I said, for agencies and local businesses, I often recommend the same approach, which is some objection killers here. I might ask you to have a bit of a research about like what are the biggest objection killers to people getting their carpets cleaned. You know, completely clean and dry carpets in under 48 hours. I think that's a pretty decent one. Carpets that smell fresh and clean the longest. That needs to be either way more specific or change that to something else, because right now it's not really saying much. Toughest stains removed from carpet of any material. Yep. One thing I would do is like, what stains do you deal with? So for example, like one thing I might be looking for if I was looking to get my carpet or rug cleaned would be, you know, does this do like alcohol stains, food stains, like pet stains, pet odors, you know, not necessarily blood, but you can just say like fluids and all this kind of stuff. That's the stuff I'd be looking for sure. So I'd have a look at that. They gave you back a still dirty carpet. Don't like this one. I would kill this one. Is this? I assume that's meant to be a headline as well, right? Yeah. I think this is assuming too much knowledge, and I think this is like you're kind of assuming like this is almost retargeting people who have had a bad experience with a carpet cleaner, which I think the majority of people are not going to have had a bad experience with a carpet cleaner. Yeah, there might be a few. Most people who are searching for carpet cleaning they've just considered it for the first time, or it's a regular thing they do and they're just like looking for someone new to do it. How would we deliver a perfect clean carpet? Like we were talking about with mechanisms, I'd want to see something like this, like a step 1, step 2, step 3, just because it makes me feel like you're more trustworthy. I know this isn't necessarily full design. Also, I want to see people who represent your business, right? Like that's what I want to see. Give me a sec. That just opened. There are strange people in my house, so I'm just closing that so I'm not speaking over people. But like that's what I want to see with this kind of stuff is how are you proving that you know that you're different, and do I understand the process that I'm going to go through? So does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Will make you forget all the other carpet cleaners. Same thing. Don't like it. I just want facts, man. You're a local business. You're providing a service. I want fucking facts. That's what I really care about. Great ones. We accept all carpets. No limitations by size. Really like that. Okay. That's another thing that I would have as an objection killer. So you could have types of stains you remove. You could have like guarantee on there might be a good one. How long it will take. Carpet sizes. And safer antiques. You know, we take any carpet and then like step 1, step 2, here's how we do it. You know, like we use these things. Contact us now. That's what I would be doing. You said this is for women. I don't think it matters a fucking tool. Messaging hierarchy example. Yeah, I don't think it's like like bad. Like your message hierarchy. I would just do what I've just said there, which is a bit more like, direct call out, specific objection killers. Then you have a what like you'll actually do, why your process is unique. And then a, like I wouldn't, you can have current offers and discounts if you want. I would just have like one main offer that you're trying to drive people towards. So it makes people feel like, oh, wow, this is really good. You say 20% off for September. Oh shit, 20%. Oh, that's giving me a reason to nudge, or like 2 for 1 carpet clean for September. Oh wow, okay, that's gonna nudge me into clicking. And then testimonials high up as well. Have one or two, at least one testimonial, at the top, and make sure you have images of like your team, of you guys doing it, of good carpets you've done in the past at the beginning, at the top, right? Hopefully that makes sense. It certainly doesn't need to be for women. Like there's not like, I don't think gender really matters when it comes to carpet cleaning. Are there a lot of cosplayers in the UK? Have you considered running an e-com business to case the cosplayers like Paris Heroes props? I was asked to help with a weeaboo store, by someone who was running in Japan. I was asked if I'd be interested in that, and I said maybe. I might at some point do something a bit like geeky, but it's not top of my list right now. What type of business did you do, guy, before? A lot. I'm doing a lot right now. I'm doing online doctor, pharmacy platform, pharmacies. Was doing financial pub, which I don't really do now, thankfully, because I'm not really a fan of it. E-com stores. I can't list all the ones I do for e-com stores. Local business, novelty service, like a fun kind of like 3D printing / 3D body scanning thing. Fucking online courses, like copy that. Agency for the new agency I'm running. Probably other shit that I'm not even thinking about right now. But yeah, there you go. That's a slight rundown. You need milk. You went to buy milk, but now my store shows up to save you walking 60 minutes to go buy it. Yeah, I can't remember what that was in reference to, but yes, I'm going to say yes. Also, we are from a smaller country where no one sends flyers and generally know what copyright is, so open rates are higher here than average. Oh, awesome. There you go. Nice. Want to watch the Ben Svenga seminar? Gonna go look for it. Yeah, I don't even know where I found it or like who gave it to me, because it wasn't actually meant to ever get out. I don't think. I think it was meant to only be for the people who attended it, but oh well. Are there any popular marketing books you see recommended much that you totally disagree with? Probably. I mean, the thing is, I haven't read many marketing books, so I haven't really read many copywriting books, to be completely honest. Like, definitely read more than your average person, but I think that .com secrets is really good for some things, and I think it's very poisonous for other things. For example, like if you try and build an e-com store using .com secrets, generally speaking, I don't think it's going to work. And in it, Russell Brunson does kind of say, oh yeah, you can do this for an e-com store, because the first thing I did was like a physical product. But like most businesses should not be following like that specific method he lays out. Not to say it doesn't have value, because I think especially for like online coaching for info products, I think it's really, really good. And for some like SaaSes and stuff, but for other shit like local business and e-com, it just doesn't make sense. But that's not to say I don't think it's a good book. I think it has a lot of great stuff in it. Your opinion on sales videos for an e-com product or products with AI voice? Yep, it's fine. They work. I see them work all the time. How did the person create a website in Google Docs? This is an image by the looks of it, so I assume they use something else. This product's for women. Are they mums? Do they have small children or babies? You're cool. Yeah. Is this like the only section variations like the full landing page? Still looks so good on Canva. For these kinds of companies, do you think it's good to have like a well-edited video showcasing in case of carpet cleaning? I just think video is like, it's just superior. It's a superior way to advertise for most things now. So I think having a video, especially for a local business, of like the founder of the local business talking to the camera and demonstrating stuff that's going to build so much trust and make you feel like you already know it. So that would be a great idea. I don't think gender matters when it comes to carpet cleaning. Alex Myatt. There you go. I'm all about equality on this channel. Have you written long form VSLs for e-commerce? Yes, I have. I've done that for supplements. I've done that for not pet training. Fucking hell. Oh, supplements. I was trying to think of the word I just said. I don't have pet supplements. I've done it for. I've helped Chief a bunch for things like sleeping aids and joint supports. So yes. If you don't get referrals, do you usually do cold outreach yourself and send video audits to send this like you showed in the course? I have not had to do any cold outreach for like myself to get work in about 4 years, or 3 or 4 years. So I do not need to do that anymore, because I have referrals all the time. However, I can still send damn good cold outreach because I used to love it and did it all the time. And I still help other business. Obviously, I help you guys do it, but also I help businesses do cold outreach for different things too. What's your views on analysis paralysis when it comes to my own copy? Is this your copy? Or are you talking about like, oh, you're just saying analysis paralysis? I don't really know. You're going to have to ask me a more specific question than that. I'm not sure. Poisonous is for what? If you're referring to the Russell Brunson thing, I'm just saying that for ecom, I don't think you should follow the advice. I've been Googling about the Ben Svenga seminar and didn't find anything, so I know it's really hard to find. Yeah, like fucking hell. I can't remember what it's called. It was definitely like his retirement thing. It was when he was going to retire. I'm sure I have it somewhere. I'm not going to share it because I'm not going to partake in piracy. But I have seen it and may have it somewhere, but I'm not going to confirm that. It's harder to sign clients nowadays than before. No, it is not harder. It is no harder or easier than before. There's always enough people out there to get work from if you're just focusing on trying to make the money. I need to ignore some of these questions now, guys. I'm gonna have to like crack on with this because I'm not going to finish this, and my head is genuinely pounding. So I'm not necessarily going to survive the night. I'm going to pause questions now. If you have a question, wait till later. I might do a bit of a Q&A later. Skylight, in-person local business outreach underrated. 100%. Just going out to local businesses and just saying, hey, going to fucking local business meetups. Oh my God, why don't more people do that? Just go to a business meetup that's happening. Go to an entrepreneurs event and fucking pitch yourself. There's barely any other marketers there so often. Anyway, was it a Ben Svenga seminar or a Gary Halbert seminar? It's a Ben Svenga seminar. Did I say Gary Halbert? Did I? I might have done in my head, but no, it's Gary Ben Svenga. It was Ben Svenga's like retirement one. Okay, all right, moving on. Hopefully that's helped. I can't actually remember whose copy this was now. Was it Muller, something like that? Mallow. Hopefully that's helped. I'm going to move on because you haven't said anything, but hopefully that has been useful. Miles, Incubator lift. Sorry, second lift. Subject line: get paid to learn AI proof copy? ? Get paid to prove you're better than AI. Want to show clients you're better than AI. I don't know. I'm still not like massively in love with any of those, but like I feel like they're okay. I'm just not massively in love with them, but I think they're okay. I honestly feel changing this to how to would be way better. I would honestly just change this like how to show clients you not better than AI, but like you destroy AI, or like, something like that. You're better than AI. Like I want that a bit more punchy. Not you're better than, but like they don't need AI, or AI is crap, or something like that. How to show clients AI is crap, or something like that, right? That gives it a slight like, oh, I'm interested now. That one is probably my next favorite, like outside of maybe changing that one. Get paid to learn AI proof copy. It's like, oh, what is that? They're okay. I would run them, but I'm not in love with them. Oh, you skipped our flyers copy. Oh, fuck. Hang on then. 1 second. sorry, this is, I'm gonna do a PSA for everyone. I know that this is a better, more organized way. I fucking hate Google Docs that are organized like this because I always forget that there are tabs on the side. And my phone just heard me say, "Hey Google." All right, can you go away, please? There we go. We return your carpets 3 times cleaner than any other service. I'm just not. I'm not really interested in this comparison angle. I don't really care about you versus another carpet cleaner, because the only time I care about that is when I'm considering carpet cleaners. And like, that's why I said, you can mention like the process you do and like what your uniqueness is on your website. If I get a leaflet in, why do I care that you are better than other carpet cleaners? I don't even ever want carpet cleaners. I don't like this, attacking other people angle. I just don't think it works for carpet cleaning. Instead, I would just be using this as even just like, something I feel like might be quite interesting for this. I'm going to use brain power on this, but like, imagine this is a leaflet, right? I mean, that's a square. Fucking hell, Alex. There we go. That's better. Imagine this is a leaflet, like, okay, and then imagine an image, some kind of image here, right? This is like an image of like a close-up of carpet, and then you've got let's say like some dog fur in there. You've got like a little gummy like Haribo thing. You've got like a bogey. You've got some like, I don't know, let's just say what else is kind of gross. Let's say like a hive of like bacteria, and like I would try and like, do this as like layers of your carpet almost. Okay, it's like what's in your carpet, and then you can just say like, some kind of, there must be a stat or something, right? Like this I feel like is, oh shit, fucking there's something here to be interesting in. Like this is the reason, the justification to clean your carpet, right? The reason I like this, and I'll do the other side in a second, but the reason I like this is because this is quite a good like hook. This is quite good, like, oh, okay, this is actually interesting because it's like nothing else I get through the door, right? And then you can explain like, oh, the stuff that builds up in a carpet, and then you can say like, oh, like our process, for like cleaning, or our our deep clean, or our 3 steps to deep clean, or our deep clean like 2 steps, or whatever, something, maybe have a bit of a unique mechanism there, and just say like we do this, then we do this. It's like I would probably make this image a bit smaller so it doesn't take up the whole fucking page. But you understand my meaning. Is like this side is all about like the justification, a bit of a hook. So if they are seeing it this side, it's like, oh, that's interesting. And it kind of builds up that justification for, oh, maybe we should get our carpets cleaned. But also it's showing the process. So it's giving them more information. The other side, I would just be like hyper direct, right? Like it would just be like, okay, well, let's just say benefit for now. Okay, like benefit carpet cleaning. And this might be like 48-hour carpet cleaning. I mean, maybe not, because I think that's like not the strongest like benefit as such, but it might be, you could even do like town's #1 carpet cleaning. You could just do that. And what I would have here is I would have an offer. Okay, something here, 20% discount, or like we're doing 2 for 1s, some kind of reason to act now. This side is like your kind of direct side, okay? So if they see this side, it's like intriguing, quite interesting. It's like, oh, it's kind of a gross thing, and like, oh, it might build some interest. But one of 2 things happen. Either they're going to see this side first, and they're going to be quite direct and know what this is about, or they're going to see this side, and they're not going to be able to resist like turning it over, because it's quite an interesting thing. And then you have, like we discussed on the website, all the things that you can like do, the objection killers of like, oh, there's, we do antiques, we can do any carpet, any size, all this kind of stuff. Super quick, I guarantee, we're local, we've built up a reputation in this area for like 15 years, so people love us. And then a big, QR code or something like that here, or just saying, oh, Google this, or scan this QR code, and like book today. Right. that's like what I would do is the two sides of the leaflet. So you've got like the directness, and you've got like the intrigue and the build up of people justifying why, the intrigue and the justification of why it might be good to do. Plus, we can see your process. Hopefully that makes sense. There you go. That's a quick little. You can see other notes I make for other brands that I consult with. Hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea. Where are we? Is this copy used by copy that? What copy are you referring to though? Look, if they're okay, that's another conversation. 3x cleaner is bad. Like, what does that mean? Yeah. Alex, what's some really good marketing books? Fucking dude, I don't know. Over Deliver by Brian Kurtz. I really like that one. Alchemy. Ready, Fire, Aim. There you go. See off my top of my head. I'm no expert, but I feel like less is more with this carpet brand. A Google ad that says carpet clean now, not happy you don't pay, and then simple page with similar offer. Yeah, exactly. And this is what I said at the beginning around like, the strategy just being direct. People are already searching for it. There's high intent, give them what they want, overcome the objections, great offer, really simple. Marketing for local businesses is really, really simple. I imagine they want someone to take that task off their to-do list so they can spend more time with their kids. How do you quantify that? I mean, how would the customer actually quantify that? Should they get their carpets cleaned by the cleaners? So like, yeah, exactly. Also, phone number. Won't want to miss out on all the people just like, yeah, very, very good point. Phone number, email address, all kinds of contact. I probably should have clarified that. All kinds of contact information on the leaflet, because it's not like, a single CTA. It's just the way that you find easiest to get in touch with us. Alchemy was great. Okay, so that's what I think about those. I think a before and after is also a fantastic idea to have in there. Like, honestly, you could have that, you could have like the offer kind of over here, and then you could have like before and after image here. Potentially, you could have a before and after on this side. You can play around with this and A/B test things, of course, but there you go. That's a couple of ideas for you. I'm not gonna. We just want your opinion on these headlines hooks for short form videos. Do you think these can go viral? No one can predict what's going to go viral. If you want stuff that's super intriguing, let me give you a really quick thing. Nope, that's not intriguing. I don't like the word adequate. And who cares about like maybe if this was like the 3 best carpets for bedrooms, might be a bit more interesting. How big carpet do you actually need? Doesn't make sense grammatically and not that interesting. 3 things you need to know before buying any carpet. Like, okay. I would start though with buying a carpet, like watch for these 3 red flags or something. But nothing, I doubt any of these is going to go viral, because it's like you have probably a better chance of going viral if you just show the cleaning process, because people love videos like that. But also, why do you want to go viral? Like why? Like, you're a local carpet cleaning company. There's no benefit to you going viral. Which carpet is most difficult to upkeep? Which carpet is best dog owners? Which carpet stains the least? Why does your carpet smell bad after cleaning? Why do carpets get moldy? I would just question the whole strategy around why you're trying to do these kind of things. High intent, good offer, make it easy for them. That's all you need to do as a local business. All right. I'm going to try my absolute hardest to get to all of these, but my brain is beginning to break slightly, so I'm not going to promise. Okay. And I have no water. Why do you... copy and marketing has 3 spots left. Okay. Why do you just think Sean, even with his decade of experience, still puts in the hours when he could just use AI? I don't really like that. I don't think that's it's not very stingery. It's not very interesting to me. It's not very, it doesn't stop me. I kind of feel like I kind of feel like it would be more interesting if this was like Sean. This is why Sean is completely AI proof. He has one thing that other copywriters lack, but can learn, or something like that, or I want to share with you Sean's secret for never getting replaced by AI. Something like that. That would be more stingery, more interesting to me than this. I think this is a bit of a diffused way of saying that. Apologies, I just reached the end of 4 back-to-back 18-hour work days on top of traveling. Link. to the image. It's because top tier copywriters have one thing in common. They never outsource their thinking, not to a person, not to a machine, because copywriting is about the process. I don't think this image is doing what you want it to do, because reading this image after this makes me feel like Sean only is like, the reason Sean doesn't use AI is because he works like a fucking madman, and I don't want to work 18-hour days. Like, that's why I'm not out after working 8-hour days. So I don't really think this is supporting the main point you want to make here. I don't feel like this has a grip, and there's nothing that relates to these subject lines so far. You've mentioned AI, but I don't know how this is showing me you're better than AI or learning AI proof copy. Because copywriting is about the process. It's the hours you spend researching, thinking, writing, and rewriting real world projects that keep your idea engine humming. That's how you internalize what to do, when to do it, and why you're doing it. That's how you become a copywriter that premium clients beg to work with. This isn't very interesting to me right now. I don't really know why you're telling me this. I can't really tell what's in this for me. You're just making copywriting seem really difficult. But where to from here? You could decide that this coffee shop is too much work and you'd rather keep it as a hobby. You could continue watching the free vids, chasing clients without proof, and feel imposter syndrome lurking in every copy conversation. Or you can check out the Copy Marketing Incubator to get direct mentorship and real world practice projects from Sean and Alex, plus all access to all that stuff. It's one of the best opportunities I've seen for getting your writing reviewed, revised, and polished by lead copywriters. And once your writing is up to par, Sean will test it on real customers. I'm going to stop there. Why are you talking about AI? Like, why are you even mentioning AI here? What, like, you're now talking about how this is the best way to like actually develop your career as a copywriter and get paid. Here's difficult for me. This is not intriguing enough to stop me. This is not stingery enough to make me feel like, what's in this for me? This is not related to that. This makes the whole thing seem just quite difficult, and why would I even bother doing any more without giving me any hope? This is just reminding me that, this stuff is quite hard, and then it's introducing the Copy Marketing Incubator for no reason. This is just, get direct mentorship and get practice. So it's like, it's not really that interesting to me. I don't feel like there's anything in it for me that's very easy or simple, or why this is better. Because I didn't come into this thinking, I'm going to improve my copywriting career. I came into this thinking, how am I going to beat AI? And this has no direct proof as to how I'm going to beat AI in this. I think this needs a rethink, Miles. If you're in the chat and you don't understand, let me know. But I would go back to the drawing board and start from scratch for this. Back to your grading confidence. Share how much figuring how cleaning. Thank you, Alex. We'll work more on our strategy and copy overall. See you on the next Whetstone. No problem, man. I hope that was useful. I don't like that question about Sean using AI. I think Sean is improved that AI can't actually replace high quality copywriters. Yeah, I just think I just don't understand why it's linking to what Sean's saying there, really. Alex, I know your advice is to use AI for research. Sometimes do you think AI can replace copywriting next 10 years after it learns human emotions? AI, look, as far as writing goes, AI is basically as good as it's going to get. And this isn't like, me being in denial and being like, because I know people go, yeah, but look at how much better it got in the last 10 years or like 2 years or whatever. But the reason I say that is because it's already really fucking good at writing basic shit. It's really fucking good at that. It's really good at writing stuff that's tick box exercise. Like, it's good at the stuff it needs to be good at. It's good at the stuff that it's already replacing writers at. It's not going to get any better at the stuff that it just cannot do because of its limitations. Its limitations are that it's a machine learning thing. It is not capable of coming up with novel concepts. It is not capable of drafting, creating, and then planning, delegating, managing, and implementing a whole marketing strategy on its own. It is not capable of saying, why don't we A/B test these two things against each other because of this logic that I found in this random YouTube comment. Like, could it be trained to do all of that? Maybe, but is it going to understand like the reasons for all of it? Like, no, it's not. And someone is still going to need to operate the AI and tell it what to do. So even if it got to that point, like and sometimes even for what AI is good for now, it's so much quicker for me to just do it myself, because like it produces something and then I have to go back and re-edit it and go, actually, that's not compliant. That doesn't quite make sense. I don't think this idea is very good. So I don't worry about it replacing humans. I really don't. Hey Aaron, looking sharp today, dude. I'm not looking sharp. I'm ill as fuck. I feel my worst. But I appreciate you saying that. Go and watch Jason Fledlin's interview with Matthew Volkwin. He gives you a great perspective on what AI is great at and what is, yeah, I agree. Okay, cool. Right, Hound said, I don't think AI is actually AI, it's machine learning. Yeah, 100%. Right, Miles, hopefully that's been useful. SaaS squeeze page. I have a SaaS client with LinkedIn ads on a couple months ago, taken into a squeeze page with an ebook lead magnet. One iteration got a lot of clicks, but the squeeze page, not written by me, is getting super low opt-ins, under 5%. So now you're right. The target audience is leaders in the quality department and mid-sized and large manufacturers. Here's the winning LinkedIn ad. So yeah, an idea. Awesome. Thank you for this. This is super important for me to see. 5 ways quality leaders can break the accountability trap. Your quality initiatives are at risk. Here's how to turn them around. This trap. Okay. Here is the current squeeze page. All right. I can immediately tell you what's going on here. Most people are coming to it from mobile, I'm going to bet. And even if they're coming to it from desktop, I have quite a big desktop. This is not easy for me to download. I have already decided that when I've clicked a LinkedIn ad for a lead magnet, I've already decided I want that thing because I know it's free. Why aren't you making this easy for me to get, man? I know it's not you, but the business. Why are you not making this easy for me to get? Look, let me show you. And I know this is down to the design and the functionality of the page, but if you want to fucking increase conversions, here's what you do. Imagine that's a phone screen. Here's your free 5 blah, 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 like whatever the fuck it was. And then this is, an image of what you get. So like a mock-up of, the 5 things with, the like all that stuff there. And again, making sure this is above the fold with your email here, and then like a little submit button. Okay. You fucking use whatever you want, but make sure that the email box is above the fold. It's really easy for me to type in and to click. And then under that, this is where you have your fascinations. Okay. So you can have learn this thing, da, 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 da. And then you can have the rest of it. That's what the fuck I want. Because I've clicked an ad, just going back to the ad. I've clicked an ad that has this thing on here, and I expect to now want to get this. And then I click onto here, and I'm met with a wall of text, and I'm like, oh, fucking, I can't be bothered. So to even fucking see this and download, I have to do this. And then I have to put in my first name, my last name, my email address, my company name, my country code, my phone job. Let me tell you something. Something really simple to do. Change this to be a business email address. So it has to be, like a specific domain name. So like not Gmail, but, alexsbusiness.com. And just ask them for their email address. You don't need their first name. You don't need their last name. You don't need their phone. You don't need their job title. You don't need their country. You don't need their company name. Because guess what? You can get the company name from the email address. If this is just going into a CRM, I doubt you're using much of these things. Yeah, your salesperson might be calling him, but guess what? They can just fucking Google the company, search for the company, and then get all the information they need. And that you can tell from the email address, generally speaking, what the person's first name is and what the company is. So you can get out of all these things. If the click-through rate is that, the conversion rate, the sign-up is that low, try reducing the number of fields to just 1. And try bringing it above the fold and try showing what you showed on the ad and making it really easy to get. Okay. That is my first big piece of advice without even looking. I'm not even going to read the fucking copy on that page because the copy on that page barely matters. And this here is this is something that you come to learn, and this is like the difference in my mentality now. And compared to how it used to be, which is I used to write shit like this. I used to say the weakness is the bullets, they're too bland, it's complete, the copy's disconnected, and the copy misses mentioning the report includes 6 million. Now, you're probably right in all these things, But me now, having done this for 8 years and now being a marketing consultant, when I look at this page, I no longer just go, I no longer scroll down and go, okay, let's have a look at the copy and let's read all this stuff. Instead, I go, what's going to stop someone as a layman fucking signing up from that? Oh, I'm busy day. I'll click that, comment to this. Fucking hell. All right, whatever. That's what's stopping people. It's not easy for me to get that thing. I've decided I want the thing. You better make it really fucking easy for me to get that thing. So I can't guarantee, but I nearly guarantee just by changing those things I just mentioned about the design and functionality, it's going to make it so much easier. So, like, you know, the copy probably can be improved, but that wouldn't be the thing that I'm really worried about. And again, like, you're not even talking about, you're now saying like, oh, we're gonna write a squeeze page which is like got a bunch of copy on it and probably moves the sign up box further down. Don't do that. Just do a sign up box, then do your bullets. Then if you really want to, you can do this kind of copy. But I guarantee you nearly guarantee you that's probably not going to make much of a difference, okay? I don't think the problem here is going to be in the copy. If people have already clicked for the LinkedIn ad, they've already probably convinced themselves, oh, it might be good for me to see this because I am a quality leader. So what your team really thinks when you choose, yep, I can already say 3-time notifications, these are decent bullets. All of these are decent bullets. I can already tell, okay? I don't need to read this in a specific deeply because I can already tell these are decent bullets. Yep, putting these as your bullets, like here as the first few. Obviously, by the way, whenever I sketch things, this is not the exact size I'm telling you to do it at. You can make the image smaller, you can make the mock-up smaller, blah, blah, blah. I'm just doing it for the sake of ease. But yeah, replace those bullets with that. And then, yep, you can do some more. You can do some more copy below if you want, but I guarantee if you just change, nearly guarantee. I'm tired now, or not tired. I'm fatigued now, guys. I can nearly guarantee that is going to have a massive impact. Okay. I've given you it. I don't even want you to think about that. Honestly, you could just run that mock-up with the easy email and submit button and these bullets, and I can almost guarantee that will be better than the current squeeze page. I'm actually going to tell you to do that instead of worrying about all of this stuff like getting these leads in, okay? Whew. Okay, does that make sense? I don't know if whomever wrote this is in here, but hopefully that makes sense. Hey Alex, can you please increase the scale of your browser? It's really painful to read the copy on the screen. No, I've seen. Yeah, sorry about that. Bit late, but yeah, 200 is as much as I can go. Go and look at the 22-hour video. Aaron, stop bullying people. Or keep bullying people if you're going to tell them to buy me stuff. I have watched a 22-hour video, but I have not seen the client part because I wanted to make a sample first. Well, then let me tell you, YT, you should finish the 22-hour course first before you worry about clients, and you should practice copy because bad client acquisition is often a case of having bad copy. All right. Here you go, Charles. Super helpful. Thanks, Alex. I knew the opt-in form was terrible. Yeah, it's so often a marketing issue. But your bullets are better. So absolutely you can use those. But I wouldn't worry. I'm kind of being quite mean on this just by not reading it in depth because I know you already care about this copy you've written. But the reason I'm not is because I'm trying to treat this as a normal person will treat it. Alex, when you judge copy, do you always think about how the copy would appeal to the target reader's perspective? Yes, that is the only way you can properly review copy. So you absolutely should be doing that. Oh, okay. Practice homepage above the fold copy. Business equals custom box packaging service like this. Ooh, God, that's cool. I could use that. I've created 3 different versions. Question. For a homepage hero section, typically how many variations, how often do you A/B test, and what would you measure as a winner for homepages, amount of hero sections, CTA clicks? The question is how many people are going to your homepage and how are they reaching your homepage? Is it because are you using it as your main landing page from ads, or is it ranking organically very highly for things people are searching? If no to both of those, then I don't really worry or test my homepage that much. I just make sure it signposts to places that are useful, or I just have it mirror my main offer. So I kind of treat it like a sales page. Any tips for any homepage copy would really appreciate it. I'm definitely going to do a masterclass on homepages at some point because we get this question a lot, and I have done so many Whetstone Wednesdays talking about homepages. So I'm definitely going to do one. Try out your custom package before ordering large quantities. I guess here's a tip for homepages. Unless you're targeting someone specific, and you know that's the only person you're going to be targeting, the best thing to do is just to use this as a bit of a description for your company and signpost to people to where they should be going. Try out your custom package before ordering large quantities. I would rewrite the wording of that because I don't think it's good, but I think as an idea, I think that's like a decent idea because it is something, it's an objection that people have and, you know, it's a thing they'll care about. So like, you know, order custom packaging, you know, or like order prototype boxes or create a custom box prototype or custom packaging prototype before you order or before you, you know, input an MOQ or whatever. Like that makes sense as a value proposition to some, you know, like I've been in that position before. I've wanted that stuff. So that makes sense as a value proposition. If that's the main thing you're driving people towards, I think that's good. I like the objection killers. Objection killers are a big thing for homepages, for sure. Just like generally making the brand seem good. No contract, no minimum quantity, no waste. I think no waste is a bit meh. Like, who really gives a shit? Like, if you want to spend like no wasted money, something like that makes a bit more sense to me. No wasted budget. I would reword that, but I like that idea. A packaging, that doesn't make sense. A packaging so protective. It would just be packaging so protective, not a packaging. Or it would be like a box so protective. Packaging so protective that you can even ship glass test tubes. Again, like if people really care about the protectiveness, yeah, this makes sense. But I would only mention this as a point of like, oh, extra padding or like extra protective packaging available. I wouldn't have this as the main homepage thing because it's probably not going to be that relevant to everyone. This is going to be more relevant to everyone. Our 7-step protective padding process. Make sure your product is protected regardless of the size of material. Only if you know people are really after this kind of packaging would I start to talk about that stuff. But again, don't like this much because it's backing yourself into a corner I don't think many people are going to care about. Customize your package with us. Custom design, no problem. Custom size and shape. We have the correct materials. Custom protective paddings. We got you covered. So I would say, like, you know, in terms of practice, the first thing, it's hard to just practice above the fold homepages because you need to actually know what the business does, who you're targeting, the rest of the marketing strategy. Like I would say this is probably closest to like the kind of thing I would do because it's a clear offer that's probably relevant to a fair chunk of people, and you've got objection killers. So I would rework on that one. Hopefully that makes sense, Alec, if you're in the chat. Fred says a point that was made in the 22-hour course is that outreach is literally copywriting. It's the first impression your prospect has of your copywriting skill. Big agree. Big agree. Woman that has a problem with growing her glutes. My great glutes grow routine will get you big glutes fast. App with workout programs for glutes. Click the button. This ad leads to this sales page. Booty by Brett. Okay. It's a spec piece, as I don't work with them. I just found them on Instagram and randomly chose to write an ad just for a portfolio. Nice. I like the approach. Now, I don't know if Elise exists, but I can bet $1 that she's at least one woman who's having kids and doesn't have time and is on some 3 times, something like that, but still want great clues. Okay, fair enough. Whoops. Facebook ad text. How Elise got attractive. Guarantee that's going to get flagged by Facebook immediately. Any reference to someone becoming more attractive or like how they like aren't ugly anymore, Facebook really doesn't like that shit. You might get away with it, but I would err on the side of caution. Alicia's friends text her all the time. How she got such massive glutes? How has she got? Again, guys, just I'm going to be mean because my head hurts and I'm getting to a point where I am feeling mean. If you submitted this to me as a spec piece, right? And I'm really glad you are trying to do spec pieces. I respect the hell out of you for doing that. But if you submitted this to me as a spec piece and I was a brand, and one of the first lines I read was, Elise's friends text her all the time, how she got such massive glutes. Like, this doesn't make grammatical sense to me. Like, I know you could say like, oh, they were texting her asking how she got such massive glutes. That starts to make sense. But there's such a risk here of me misreading that. So like, I would just reword that first of all anyway. Worst body shape possible, yet she did it. Another month, no bigger glutes, the issue. You don't know the great. This is really confusing. And it's confusing me. Okay, so one, you need to make sure it's all grammatically correct and it's easy to read. And reading that out loud is a big way to do that. Two, what is the idea here? Who are you talking to? Are you telling Elise's story and now you're moving into talking to me as the reader about my journey? I'm not sure. So not really a fan of this primary text at all, to be honest. Honestly, stronger primary text here would just be like how Elise grew her glutes with the great glutes grow, with an arrow pointing down. Okay, because you're saying growing glutes, which is the thing I care about, and then trying to direct me to the video. That would be stronger than this, because this is just making me confused. Video script. I'm a PhD sports science, personal trainer 2 decades, author of plus 500 articles. Is that how I'm meant to read that as the actor? I'm a PhD sports science, personal trainer 2 decades, author of plus 500 articles. That is very badly written. If you are submitting this to a client, they are going to laugh in your face and be like, well, this is crap. You can't write. Why are you sending me this? If this is an actual spec piece and you're trying to send this to people and you've said this is a script, like, how am I meant to read that out? You really need to consider this stuff, okay? Nothing can surprise me, right? Elise, mother of 2 hyperactive kids, got the best results out of my community in past 90 days. Okay, I'm going to stop reading this because this is not written well enough for me to actually review it properly. I am also going to say that in terms of ideas, like, I think that you have a really solid, like, RIOA set out. And now I want you to spit draft this and actually plan what it is you're trying to say and why you're trying to say it. Because, I mean, the quality of the copy aside, you know, the writing aside, like, this is just, it's so confusing about like what's being said and by who it's being said. You know, like, you're just introducing the person who runs the community immediately. Like, you're not focusing on Elise, like her story and the glutes. You're not calling out the problem of glutes immediately. You're just starting with like, oh, I'm a PhD person and I have all this stuff. And then the video is just, now her results are extraordinary. Best part, each workout took less than commuting. Like, this is not enough of a plan or a video script for me to actually like look at and read. Okay. So you need to go back to the drawing board with this. You need to do some more copy work with this. Could that grammatically incorrect line be using the language his audience speaks? Maybe, but judging on the rest of the ad, I'm guessing that is not the case. Is $10 to $15 enough for daily ad spend for Google Ads? Like, yeah, anything is enough for Google Ads. It just depends on what your cost per click is. You know, like, I'm getting cost per clicks at the moment for one of my clients of about, you know, like 20 cents. So if you spend, say, $10 a day, what is that? That's 50 clicks a day. So you're getting potentially 50 people onto your website, onto your landing page. And then if you get like a 10% contact rate from that, you're getting 5 people a day, you know, like between 2 and 5 people a day contact you. So yeah, that's enough. It just depends. You just need to start with some kind of budget and then see what kind of CPC you get back in. Alex, when you practice copy, is it always necessary to research the market, products, and iVolk every day to follow daily practice? You don't need to like go into such heavy research. It depends what you're writing and what spec piece you're writing, but you do need to have some kind of understanding of what the niche is and like what people care about. It can just be 5 to 10 minutes. It can just be looking at some popular questions that get asked in the subreddit, or like, you know, watching a quick video and reading the comments. You don't need to do everything, you know, just for a spec piece. Facebook ad for posture brace. Context, Facebook ad targeting people who spend most of their day working on a computer, often with poor posture, leading to back pain. You know what? That you've just inspired me to use my standing desk. Look, you guys are going to see it. Bye. Look how awesome that is, man. I haven't used my standing desk today yet because I've been like so engrossed in the shit I've been doing and I've not felt very well. So this has just inspired me to stand up because the reason I got this standing desk was for posture. I need to raise my monitors anyway. Often with poor posture, drive them to the product page where they can purchase posture improving brace. Okay, cool. Idea: the Flexi brace uses patented technology developed by activate back muscles, helps improve your posture naturally without becoming dependent on it. The rereals are maybe since the audience. Now, I think I already reviewed one of these, didn't I? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I did. And I can already tell the way you're thinking about the idea is better than the first draft that I reviewed. There you go. I took your critique from last time and implemented a problem, unique mechanism of the problem, unique method of solution approach. Okay, awesome. Let's see how this goes. I'm not going to lie. I own a standing desk and treadmill, but I never use it. It's a hard thing, isn't it? You've got to make sure you. I do usually use it every day, but I've not been great today. I do want to get a treadmill though. All right, I can spread my legs as well to come a bit further down. There we go. Hound says, I built my standing desk last month. Moving from sitting to standing height is my favorite part of the whole desk. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun when it's electric. Anyway. Primary text. Okay, ad creative. Now, I always care more about the ad creative than the primary text. I've run many tests that shows the ad creative is the most important part. Struggling with back pain and bad posture. All right, nice call out there. Here's the real reason. Slouching shuts off your postural muscles. Over time, they weaken, your spine loses its natural support, and the pain gets worse. This is also why most braces you may have tried didn't work. They rigidly hold you in place, making your muscles dependent and therefore weaker. Okay, potentially some cleaning up to do here a little bit, but like so much stronger than it was. So much stronger. So for example, here's how I might improve this a bit. So struggling with back pain and bad posture, fine. Not a problem. So call out is direct. Here's the real reason. Slouching shuts off your postural muscles. I wouldn't necessarily say here's the real reason here. You can say that. But going straight into slouching shuts off your postural muscles, I don't really understand like what are you saying? It's just a little bit muddled. It's like struggling with back pain and bad posture. Okay, am I struggling with back pain because I'm slouching, are you saying? Or am I slouching because I have bad back pain? What's happening first kind of thing? So I might reword that slightly, and I might say something along the lines of, okay, I'm getting fucking messages now. Something along the lines of, struggling with back pain and bad posture. You can even start with the real reason if you really want to. Like the real reason, or like the true enemy, is how often you slouch. Okay, but it's not your fault. Everybody slouches. What matters is how you correct it, for example, okay? So I'm not trying to do too much at once here. I'm not trying to say, slouching shuts off your postural muscles, then they weaken, then your spine loses natural support, and then the pain gets worse. That's quite a lot all in one go. Instead, like, take me down a nice path. Take me down like a thread, step by step. Struggling with back pain and bad posture, it's probably because you're slouching, or it's probably because of slouching. But it's not your fault. Slouching is unfortunately natural for anyone who sits at a desk. Right? So there we go. But there is a solution. Okay. Or you could say, you don't have to say the solution this early on. You could say, and this is why it causes such a big problem. ... Next line, slouching like shuts off your posture or switches off your postural muscles. That means they're not getting the I know you can call it like passive exercise they need, so they weaken, and then your spine isn't supported. That's where the pain comes from. All right, do you see how I'm just changing this from all in one go to like a slightly more structured thing? This is still much better than it was though. This is also why most back braces don't work. I get rid of "you may have tried" because the implication is, you're saying they don't work. You don't even need to say "you may have tried" because they know if they've tried it or not. they rigidly hold you in place, making your muscles dependent on the brace and therefore weaker, right? That's okay. Again, do a similar exercise I just did with that, but I think that works. Okay. The Flexi Posture Brace, developed by physiotherapists in Sweden, works differently. Its unique elastic resistance technology gently reminds you to activate your back muscles when you slouch, so you correct your posture, maintain strength, and relieve pain at the same time. Yeah, all good. I wouldn't say gently reminds you, because that makes it feel like I'm still putting effort in. So I would put like, gently, some things gently moves you or gently readjusts you. So it's almost like you're not having to do the work. There's this thing doing the work. The best part, even 10 minutes a day can make a difference. I'll just cut that. Even 10 minutes a day can make a difference. No need to wear it for more than 3 hours. Use it on busy days when you can't exercise, something on your PC. Soft padded texture, invisible on most outfits, adjustable Velcro strap, EU certified, confident you'll feel relief. No phase. Nice, good. I mean, yeah, a couple of potential like function and line edits there, but solid. But what I'm gonna say to you is that why not just use that for your script? Like, there's no reason not to just do that for your script. Like, it's fine. If you sit all day, struggle with bad posture, and battle stubborn back pain, stop using posture improving braces until you see this. And that would be like one of the hooks you run for, okay? So that's one hook, and then you could run a few other hooks. Most posture improving braces fail because they don't address the... And I would also do two versions of this ad. One where you start by attacking other braces, and one where you're just talking about how much back pain sucks and how to fix it. Because I think those are two different, the different stages of awareness you're hitting there. So yeah, I've effectively already reviewed that now because like I would just use that. Okay. But yeah, much better. Okay, much better. Hopefully, I've given you a few more bits to think about there. Particularly around bringing your script just to be like your primary text. I think that was fine. But that there, I think was good. Okay. I'm sticking it out, guys. We got 3 more left. Whetstone outreach, Aussie tradies, security or installations. Okay. Product service like pitching, marketing, copywriting, or whatever else they might need that's relevant to marketing their business. Target audience tradies, Australian service providers in the security doors and screens installation space. I love how specific this is. I love how specific your targeting is. Product aware, sophistication on a high, job posters, target audience, homeowners. Okay. From what I've researched, tradies marketing mostly relies on word of mouth, but some of them have actually invested into websites, digital marketing. The following is what I'm going to say on the video when I reach out to tradie in Australia that specialize in door security solutions. I'll make a mention of this document. Okay, so I'm guessing that's just a spec piece you've done. Script, so please click on this to see what I did. Plan on sending them the wireframe. Please zoom in because this is one long image. Didn't put the image here because it becomes low res as fuck. I think what I would say is this is a nice. This is nice. I like this. This is a good. I think I'm not going to repeat all the other shit I've already said about local businesses and services in this stream. Go back later and watch me talk about the carpet cleaning and talk about the agency stuff, because I think this would benefit potentially from having a few objection handlers, a testimonial, stuff like that. However, this is solid. I think this would be impressive because you've wireframed it out. So I think it'd be impressive to a tradie who's like, oh, I want stuff. So I like it. All right. This is the website we're talking about in the script. Oh God, don't you just love tradesmen's websites, man? This is what I mean, people. Why don't you go and pitch to fucking local businesses and tradies? It's just it's so much potential. Anyway, this is a script / copy. Hey Adrian, nice to meet you. My name's Red. Oh, it's Red. Hey Red. My name's Red. I'm a marketer who works with growing Australian trade businesses, and I'll keep this short. I came across ASI Security while looking into security door business in Adelaide, and I've got to say, you've built something impressive. You guys are already a step ahead, I think, since a lot of other tradies in the security door installation mostly rely on word of mouth. ASI has been in business since 96 and are a licensed established dealer. That's huge. Trust signal most competitors can't match. It tells me you're not selling doors, you're selling peace of mind. I would maybe make this sound a little bit more natural when you say it. in the script. Like this kind of sounds like you're almost doing a presentation. Like ASI has been in business in 96 and you're a licensed thing. It's like they already know that. It's like just, I would just, when I was talking this out, I just say like, the fact that you're licensed, you've been in business for so long, since 86, I think is amazing. So that's really useful. I just say something like that. Congratulations on your 25th anniversary with ASI. Kudos. Now, I specialize in helping businesses like ASI turn more website visitors, quote requests, and curious leads into book jobs. And I think there's a couple of quick ones we could work working together. For example, your website already has solid groundwork. The phone number and service are right at the top, which is great. When it comes to your main image, have you considered just using a static image that will profit your site? I would set more of an agenda here, I think. Oh shit, Sean's here. Oh, hey, Sean.
Hey, buddy.
I've got my headphones on. Hang on. I just looked over and saw messages coming through. Hang on. Let me test the new thing. Can you speak now?
I can.
Oh wait, hang on. Oh fuck it, I'm just gonna put my headphones on. It's just easier. Hello. How's it going, man?
It is going well. I just got out of a 2-3 hour podcast with Matt Volkwin, and so I think that's going to be up on his channel relatively soon.
Amazing. How did it go?
It went really well. He started trying to do the sort of standard like podcast, like, Sean, tell us about yourself. And I was like, no, we're not doing the standard podcast thing. And I immediately launched in with like, isn't it weird how a bunch of people are trying to do this right now? And we just had this amazing, hilarious, freewheeling conversation that it is not like any one of the like super famous copywriter interviews that he currently has on his channel. And so I have no idea how that's going to go for him, but I hope it goes really well.
Well, hopefully it sets us apart more as well. So I like that.
Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt you while you were going through and reading copy.
No, that's quite all right. I only realized because I saw someone say Sean is here. I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, you're over there for me. Okay, Red, quickly. So I would want to set more of an agenda at the start of this. Okay, I wouldn't because you kind of go straight into bum licking, which is like fine, but I would want to just say I like that you're so respectful of their time. Just say like, my name's Red. I'm a marketer who's working with growing Australian trade businesses, and I'll keep this short. Okay, I like that. I think that's a respectful way to start. The other way you can go about this is just like almost like with a hook. But I think you can have that in your message you send to them. So it'd be good to review that as well if you ever have that. But I would set a bit of an agenda here and just say, I know how busy you are, so I want to keep this, brief. What I'd love to do is show you where I think your marketing could improve. I've put together a pre-audit for you, completely fact-based. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me. But I thought I'd talk about 2 areas I thought you could improve straight away and something else you might want to consider if you've never thought about it before. Right. So just so he kind of understands, oh, all right, well, like I've got free value coming. There's 2 things to consider. And there's this mystery, this intriguing thing. You don't need to do it exactly like that, but setting that agenda early in the call is going to help him kind of go, oh, all right, I can commit to this now. Then you can do some bum licking, and then you can move into actually talking about it. So that's fine. But also one of the things I talk about in the video audit masterclass is I talk about the importance of the message as well, because the message often is there to help pre-frame, so they do finish and they do watch the whole thing. When it comes to your main image, have you considered just using a static image that will welcome prospects to your site? Because I think putting navigation-free quote first in front of your prospect's eyes, either together with or instead of authorized ambush dealer, will be a better signal for them to actually dial your number. I took a quick read of the entire website and saw that your main call to action, book a free measure and quote, is in the copy, but it's not visually standing out. I turn that into a big consistent button, same style every time, and put it just below the main image of the front page. Okay, cool. I'm going to skim through this because I can see what you're already doing. My main advice to you, Red, would be try and learn this by beats rather than like exact script, because it's going to make it feel a lot more natural when you're recording it for him. Make sure you're sharing your screen and make sure you're showing on the screen what it is you're doing. I think that's really going to help. I think the advice you're giving here is good. I think it's direct. I think you're giving reasons for it. It would be awesome if you can reference other people you've done this for, other businesses. I can already tell this is good. Definitely setting that agenda at the start, and then at each section actually kind of saying, okay, the second thing, the third thing, the fourth thing. Just say how many things you want to talk about. I've got 5 quick wins for you that I think might be able to improve your revenue or improve how many bookings you get. Starting with that, that's a clear what's in it for me. There's 5 things he knows he wants to hold on for because it's linked to this benefit. Let me actually get to your pitch bit though. I've got a few more ideas I'd love to show you. No big pitch, just a quick walkthrough so you can see what's possible. I'll also send you a PDF that might show that shows a wireframe of how a revised landing page or quote funnel might look based on what you're already doing well. On top of that, I help traders with ad copy that brings in more local leads, especially on Google and Facebook, website pages that convert better, not just look good, and follow-up emails or SMS that keep people from ghosting after a quote. I only reach out to businesses that already look solid, and to be honest, ASI Security looks like a team that gives a damn about quality. That's the kind of business I like working with. If that sounds like something worth chatting about, I'd be happy to jump on a Zoom or a quick call sometime this week. Mornings, Melbourne time usually work best for me, but let me know what suits you. Thanks for your time. Red, I think this is good. I like this, and I think you actually thought about this, particularly the value giving section. Only a few minor tweaks on there, and just a point around when you come to present this, make sure you're doing it in an engaging way with the screen share, and you're doing it so it sounds natural. Would be good to see your message as well. Just make sure you've watched my masterclass and the importance of that, like how I talk about it and what I tend to do for them. But I like that. I think it's very respectful, to the point, strong finish. Sean, any thoughts?
The one thing that sort of jumped out at me was the not a pitch line. More and more I see people, small and large, getting better results by being like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I want to pitch you my services. And like literally just like coming right out of the gate and being like, this is a funnel. Like, honestly, I'm reaching out to you because I want to work with your business. I think that I can make a huge impact, and I want to see if we would be a good fit together. And that's why I would like to get on a call with you. Like, just being so direct and so upfront, because I think that a lot of businesses right now, like when you say like, or try to disguise the fact that it's a pitch, businesses know that it's going to be a pitch. And the moment you come out and sort of be like, yes, this is a pitch, here's why you want to listen to this, businesses are going to be more amenable because they know that you're not wasting their time, and they know that you're not trying to bullshit them. And I think that if you can convey those emotions, that notion of like, you drive results, but you're not going to waste their time, they're going to have every reason to hire you.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that that's something you can definitely test, Red. And that candor is definitely appreciated. So yeah. All right, Red. Nice though. I like it.
Alex, you're sick as hell, aren't you?
I'm struggling, man. My throat is like swallowing glass, and my head is it's just pounding. It's just like proper migraine.
You should stop licking pools of COVID.
I know, right? Like, it sucks, but it's so damn tasty.
I know I'm not supposed to kink shame, but
I know. It's the bum licking. There's the reason I've been saying bum licking so much. Skylighter, yes, you can send outreach for critique as well. 100%.
Yeah. I've been encouraging people to do that for months. People don't do it.
All right. Thanks, Red. Appreciate it. I really like this. I really like this as well. I think sending this alongside, just saying, "Oh, here's an example of like just something we could do for you," or like, nice.
Yeah, good wireframing.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my god.
Fucking hell,
I was just hoping it was gonna be like $2 lifts.
Read all of it, bitch.
I'm just like, oh come on, maybe 2 lifts to finish this out. What we got? Oh, that's mine. Oh, thank God. Oh, it's only 1 left. All right. What is this? Context. Lead magnet for a course on AI copywriting. Also the first lesson of the course. No, this is quite long. Read how much you'd like. And that's all we've got time for today on Whetstone Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. We'll come back next week. I'm joking. Lead magnet for a course on AI copywriting. Also the first. It would be nice to have a bit more context around how they're being driven to this lead magnet, and what they've seen before. But Okay.
Yeah. How do people receive it? Like, what is the email that people get in order to get the lead magnet? Like, what is the lead magnet? Like either indoctrinating people for, warming people up for, or linking people to. Like, I have questions.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's start. Welcome to what might be the most important lesson you'll ever watch about making money online. I mean, a classic start. Like it doesn't blow anything out of the water, but it's not bad. I'm about to peel back the curtain and show you why every single money making opportunity you've seen online is fundamentally flawed and why it's different. This is basically just like a cliched like template right now. This could be about anything. I'm not saying
by AI.
I was gonna say, like, I'm not saying that's bad, but like it's not gonna be incredibly insane. But first, I want to ask you something. If drop shipping is so profitable, why is every dropshipping guru spending 100% of their time selling courses instead of drop shipping? The irony of yeah, fair enough. I don't know if I'd bring this up if I were about to pitch a course to someone. Depends how you do it, I suppose. If day trading is path to riches, why are all the trading gurus making their money from coaching fees instead of trading profits? Now, I know this might sound hypocritical, there you go, coming from someone selling you a course, but by the end of this lesson, I understand exactly why this is different. I don't want to fucking get to the end of the lesson to understand why this is different. You fucking got to prove that to me right fucking now if you want me to take you seriously.
Yeah. Give people a taste, not a tease.
Yeah. You'll see why I'm not just another guru selling false hope, but someone who discovered what actually works after wasting years chasing their opportunities. This is just telling, not showing at the moment. And yeah, as Sean said, like teasing. You're asking me to trust in you when you haven't given me any reason to trust you so far.
Another thing too is that like I've noticed this recently in copy that I've seen getting submitted for Whetstone Wednesday and other places, like meta awareness and like meta selling can be good. Like, letting you know this is a funnel and I am going to try to sell you something. That's meta, drawing attention to the medium by which something is transmitted. But I think that if you are trying to sell to people that want to make money from what they learn from a course, you should probably not put the niggling little bit of doubt in their head that the course won't work for them.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. The difference, if I was having to write this, I would start this off with a nod to how you have made all of your money, your recent money, through doing this new thing, and it's only just become available or viable because of the technology, the recent like boom in tech, and then another nod to but there's only one way to actually learn this. I've done so much other trial and error, and I would like to share that with you today. Okay. And in my experience, this has been more reliable than dropshipping. This has been more reliable from this other thing. I've tried it all. I've known people tried it all. This is the thing that I think is going to, whatever. At least that's setting a clear what's in it for me. You're actually promising that I'm going to get something next in the immediate section. Makes me want to keep reading because you're telling me you're going to teach me what this is. And you're saying it's better than these other things. And I'm going to show you why. And crucially, you are pointing to the reason why. That's the kind of key. The reason why this has only just become a thing is because of AI. Putting in here, this would not have been possible before June 2025. But if you're reading this, like after that date, then like you are now in the golden era because something, OpenAI or ChatGPT or Google dropped an AI update that has made making money easier than ever, or made me making money easier than ever, whatever. That's the kind of thing I would be starting off with here, building that hype,
An angle, like using an angle to get in?
Oh, potentially using some kind of angle that might, I don't know much about copy.
Can I say something about this too? Because I've written so many lead magnets over the years. Like I content and fulfillment has been my bread and butter for most of my career. And so what are the ingredients that go into a good lead magnet? They have to naturally cohere with how people got to where they are. And so they have to fulfill some promise that you've given to them or fulfill some notion that you've given to them. So it's hard for us to assess this without knowing the ad, the squeeze page, the welcome email that gave this lead magnet. Like, we can't properly assess it. The other thing that a good lead magnet does is a little bit of indoctrination, a little bit of like building up people's ideas. And this is good lead magnets. Of course, most lead magnets, like most copy, are bad and people don't care about this kind of stuff because whatever. But you want to sort of like gently sort of plant the notions that you want to expand upon later on in the funnel. What does that mean? That means that if you have a sales page later on that sells some sort of dropshipping copywriting course, and it talks about how like the thing that, like, let's say like the notion now that you're trying to convince somebody of is that speed is the most important factor when it comes to actually making money in a particular opportunity. Well, guess what? You can sort of take that notion and front load it to the lead magnet so that by the time people get to the sales page, they already have the belief set that you need them in order to buy into what they're selling, the ideas and the arguments and things like that. So lead magnet's really good for that. Second thing, write them like copy. Use one of the archetypal leads. Tell a story. Make a promise. Make an offer, things of that nature. A good lead magnet should be almost indistinguishable from a sales letter or sales page itself. Some of the best lead magnets I've ever read, I'll throw this into my swipe file for Incubator people to read, but Ramit Sethi, he had a series of PDFs that he used as lead magnets to get people onto his list. And like, if you read those lead magnets, like, one, they're super conversational. Two, they feel super valuable, but also like they feel like a laid out sales page. The flow of them is just, it's so good. And so you want to have some sort of coherence and format too between what people see and versus what people get. And then of course you need, like, if you want a good lead magnet, you have a CTA. Too many people don't have a CTA in their lead magnets. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts on on lead magnets.
I think that those are good thoughts. I think that one of the best pieces of advice I ever got with a lead magnet, I think John gave me this advice, like fucking 7 years ago, which was just around make something people want to read. And I know that sounds so basic, but like, I think you have to actually ask yourself that question. And we always talk about copy, not being boring. And as Sean's just said, like, a good lead magnet is indistinguishable from good copy, like a good sales page almost. So keep that in mind. Keep just make sure people actually want to read it. You shouldn't. And I was skimming this as Sean was talking. The reason I was doing that is because I was like actually just going through and going, well, I actually want to read this. And like, no, because honestly, like you kind of set up a bit of a promise here. Imagine even if you just change this to what we recommended a few minutes ago. I would then be so disappointed by the next things that come on. Do I want to read about your desperate years? Not really. Like, yeah, it's important for a guru story, like to talk about, oh, there's a rags to riches. Here's how I got here. But just talking about, oh, when I was 12, I like did this stuff. I did stuff I wasn't proud of. I thought there was going to be a proven system. And it's just like, oh, and then I listened to these gurus, Russell Brunson, Dan Kennedy. Brunson sold potato guns. It's like, you're just telling me about what you've experienced and you're like, I don't really care. Like, it has to come back to what I am interested in, what I want. Then you're saying, oh, gurus suck. And do I actually want to read any of this? Not really, because I already believe that fucking gurus suck if that's something that's drawn me in. And if it has drawn me in, I want you to prove why you don't suck. And I want you to start showing, so I want to read about the thing that I've come to read about. So that question of make something, or the point of make something that someone wants to read, I don't want to read any of this. I want to read about the thing that's going to help me, and that doesn't come in until page 8. AI, your magic hammer, that's when it starts to come in. Of like, oh right, so it takes me 8 pages of reading to get to what you're actually talking to me about. And then you've got this, why is it different from every opportunity? This is what I want to know really early on. It solves real problems. You're not building from scratch. The barrier to entry is your advantage. It's recession proof. The pricing is premium. These are all just quite generic points around like, well, what, want you to prove to me why this is different and why this wasn't possible before. At the moment, it's just a lot of kind of fluffy words. You're not really focusing on one particular narrative about this is why it's a watershed moment. This is what you need to do, And then I kind of just stopped on this bit and I was like, what? Most men chase women. You won't. You'll become the man they chase. I was like, okay. But point is, this doesn't feel like a lesson and doesn't feel like I'm getting anything valuable out of this. If you've sold this as a lead magnet to people, you pitched it as a lead magnet to people, then, and the first lesson, you better make sure they leave this thinking, holy shit, I really feel like I've learned something and I'm excited now to get on to the next thing. And I just don't think that does that right now. I think that's that done. I don't think we can give much more on that without looking at the specific lines. And I don't think that's going to be useful without just restarting from scratch. Okay, that was everything for Whetstone Wednesday.
Was it everything?
That was everything when I looked. That was everything from, what was that? 4:30 p.m. 2 hours ago, 2 and a bit hours ago. So there's nothing else there.
We do have a question. Are we covering submissions from the Incubator on the stream? The answer is no. Alex is sick, and the Incubator is literally tomorrow morning, and so we're going to do that.
Yeah,
then.
I would rather do that tomorrow if that's okay with you, Aaron.
I have wanted to do more stuff for the Incubator this week, but I literally last night submitted a 35-page special report that I had to write in effectively 3 days. I also this week have a newsletter and then 2 other reports that I need to write, all of which requires like spending at least 4 to 6 hours in front of a spreadsheet coming up with like a cash flow models. And so like, yoy, it's just a lot of shit.
Yeah, I'm in a.
I also have to review the VSL you sent me this morning.
Oh yeah, that's not massively important. But like, I'm in a similar boat. After this, rest assured though, Aaron, I'm not just going to go and sleep or like I'm doing work. I'm not bunking you for my illness. After this, I have to write copy for a leaflet and a web page, or mainly a leaflet, for advertising our new agency to Scottish pharmacies. And then I have to create a web page doing the same thing that we need to get up before Monday on the web page, which would be fine. The leaflet, though, we need to get written, designed, finalized tonight, because that needs to go to the printers pretty much ASAP.
So wait, the leaflet, do you need a logo for that?
I've asked Kyle to make like a placeholder one, so you don't need to bump Kaylee on it. But yeah, we will need it at some point. I mean, he's just gonna, I think, put the word pharmacy under copy that. But it gives me the chance to actually shit. Yeah, I can bring that up. What is that? Let me open in browser. Oh yeah, I'll share my screen again. We're going to use this as where's my screen? There you are. We're going to use this as a base, because this is one that Kyle and I did and designed together ages ago for an event. We're not going to do the yellow and black stuff. We're just going to rebrand it to copy that's colors. And obviously it's not going to be about healthier. It's going to be about our stuff. But I'm just using this as a bit of a base. And then I can't be bothered to get the other side up. But we'll talk about the pharmacy marketing engine, as I've called it. I had 2 calls with pharmacy groups today that went well. One of which was based in Scotland. And then I might also be attending the pharmacy show, the UK pharmacy show next month, just to advertise a bit more there. But my aim is definitely to get us to kind of like between 20 and 40,000 pounds a month through the pharmacy stuff alone. That is kind of my first benchmark to get to.
That'd be good. For everybody who's tuning in, Alex and I, we expanded our operations for Copy That into an agency. So we're doing work for my businesses, we're doing work for Copy That, we're doing work for other businesses and things like that. And so one of the things that, since Alex has so much experience in this, is really sort of reaching out to pharmacies and seeing what we can do for local pharmacies in the UK to help them grow their businesses. And yeah, there you go.
Just go to what you know, guys. This is like, we take our own advice. We're going to where we know the work is and what we already know. But yeah, but then I've the online doctor stuff. I don't even know if I can actually mention their name publicly. I'm not even sure, but I feel like I signed an NDA. But with the online doc stuff, also redesigning and redrafting their like whole product journey, and they've now got me into conversations with new health assessment stuff they're doing with 2 other massive companies in the UK. So I was on an unexpected call for that earlier, which is good. And we might be taking on the rest of their marketing, which I definitely shouldn't say on a public stream. But but yeah. So so there's that. What else was there? There's something else I'm doing. Oh, and the e-com stuff. Just the VSL. I need to get that recorded. I need to do that tomorrow. Anyway.
Well, when you feel better and take a ton of paracetamol, why did y'all start an agency? Because we're masochists.
Honestly, like earning less money, but with more work and stress. But it will pay off.
Yeah, it's just a function of like, how do we build the right systems? How do we delegate the right stuff to the right people? But in the early days of starting any sort of business venture or any sort of agency, like, you're hustling your ass off to like get cash flow in the door, that you're basically paying all of it out to other people to just sustain your ability to get cash flow in the door. And so like, yeah, it's a really awful hamster wheel, those first few months of any sort of business operation.
It is. Aaron, yeah, sorry, I've missed these questions. Yes, this is the a similar design that I did for this is a leaflet, but like we did a similar design for like walls at this event, like, you know, like stand design. And why did we do this design? Because we were in this was a couple of years ago, and the pharmacy show is just a big convention hall full of health tech and pharmacy businesses all trying to pitch their services to people and stuff. And every single fucking one is either blue or green. It's either light blue or light green, and like has like fucking circle effects. Like, oh, it's all nice and lovely. And yet that's important for brand to a degree, but we were going there to sell. And so I said, okay, now I'm in charge of this. I was like, we're going with black and yellow to stand the fuck out. We're handing leaflets out that are black and yellow. I haven't got the other one up, but I was like, we're having a direct QR code. We're having with a direct offer, which was a really great offer for the show. I think the most number of people they'd ever signed up for a show was like 2, maybe 3. And on that show, we signed up like 22, 24. Because guess what? Trying to stand out and grab people's attention and tell them to do stuff. Yeah, Aaron said it. It works. Do you all run Facebook ads to get leads for local pharmacies? We will be. I'm going to try and push them towards Google ads, though, in most instances. But we will be offering Facebook as well. Okay. Oh, wait, hang on. Do you all run Facebook ads to get local pharmacy leads? No, we're not running Facebook ads ourselves to get pharmacies on board with us, because we already have we're working with a supplier who already owns/works with pharmacies, so they can just send us referrals. Okay, thanks guys. Appreciate all the love in the chat, but I'm not gonna get it up on the screen. Cool. Sean, you good? Anything else you want to say or talk about before I?
Well, I'm texting Kaylee and asking like if she's done any work for the logos that you've asked for, because if those are like close to done, then we could probably get those to you as soon as humanly possible.
That's beautiful to me.
Cool.
Right. I'm done, man.
Go get some sleep. Work on your laptop or whatever, and I'll catch you later, man.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Appreciate it. Are you staying on, Sean, or am I ending the stream?
I'll answer like 1 or 2 more questions.
All right. I will leave. Have fun. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for being here. Love you all. Goodbye. Oh, you have to click like 3 buttons to fucking leave.
Yes, the live streams always stay up. If you go to our YouTube channel and click the live tab, you'll see a preponderance of these streams where I had a great exchange with somebody in our Discord relatively recently, and he was just like, yo, I was taking Stephen Georgie's like expensive RMBC method, and like a lot of what he's talking about is just stuff that you've revealed for free on these live streams. And I was like, oh, that makes me feel really good. And then I looked at my empty wallet and I felt less good. You hit the scroll back. It is available. My camera is so scuffed. That's not good. That's bad. That's a bad thing. The quality is horrible on my end. Well, okay. Well, in that case, I'm not going to answer questions. I think that this is more of an internet connection thing. But I'll answer a question for Aaron because he's cool. He's been struggling with focus lately in college. It feels like I get good flow going. I have to go to a lecture, then can't really focus for the rest of the day. Any advice? I really don't have a good answer for this. So there's a specific name for this phenomenon, but one of the consequences of this phenomenon is like if you have a meeting at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, for some people, certain types of neurodivergency, like that impending thing will hugely impact your brain for the rest of the day leading up to that particular point. And so it just absorbs some sort of bandwidth. And so a lot of what I have had to learn to do as a coping mechanism, because I certainly suffer from that, is force myself at least one point to do what I would like to call like mental reboots. What is a good mental reboot? A good mental reboot is like a very hard workout where you are forced, at the threat of your life, to focus entirely upon the workout. Sex is a good one. There are a few others, but those two are my favorites. And what I have found is that when you allow your brain to disconnect from that impending thing, it frees up your mind to focus on other things. And as long as you have like a good to-do list or a good system for tracking like where your priorities should be, you can now then pivot to focus on what your top priority is for that particular moment. And that's really what I was able to do, how I was able to do stuff. Set timers for things and like have like a timer on my desk where I'm just like, I have this many minutes to do this one thing, set the timer, go. And 8 times out of 10, that works really, really well. So these are, again, like all just strategies to get around the obstacle that is my own brain. But also one thing that you have to contend with is a lack of focus is usually a lack of interest or a feeling like you are not going to get out of something what you're hoping to get. And the best way to beat that sort of feeling is to either 1, gamify it, or 2, trick your brain into thinking something different. Literally, like almost like a mantra, like this gender studies class is exactly what I need to be taking right now. I'm going to learn so much. I'm going to get this benefit, this benefit, this benefit from that particular class that seems to have no bearing on my life. And like you sort of like invent all the reasons why it should. And then here's what you do. You pretend like it's super valuable. You pretend that it's super important. And guess what happens? If you start pretending to do stuff, well, as Kurt Vonnegut said, be careful who you pretend to be because you are who you pretend to be. Your focus will follow that. Those are all the things that I've tried. Those are all the things that have worked for me. There you go. Okay, we got a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to answer this because you said this. No, I'm joking. I haven't read it, to be completely honest. I've read tons of books on sales letters. I have not read this one, so I have no opinion. Want to start a lead gen agency for local businesses? Any tips? Yeah, read our book, No Man's Niche. That's literally what that is. We literally wrote a book on this. Let's see. Paul Hollywood handshake of copy that. Yeah. Well, Aaron is actually, he's very cool. You're pretty cool too. Let's see. Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, like most of us, I'm just doing the best I can, man. And like most of, by sheer dint of living longer than most of you, in order to live and to succeed, I've had to sort of like ad hoc cobble together a bunch of tricks, hacks, strategies for making shit work, because otherwise none of this would work. And it's just been like through reading books, listening to podcasts, like a slow, like the nacreous secretions on a snail's shell, a slow calcified buildup of things and different ways and strategies that I can use for doing the things that you're describing. And so all I did was just share those things. I don't feel like I have any original insights with regards to that. So, well, next Wednesday, nobody's going to review copy because it's an off week. We do these once every 2 weeks. That's a life hack. Set a timer before you start. As a business owner, when somebody cold pitches you, what 3 to 5 key things help them earn your trust and avoid seeming like a scam or fraud? Okay, uniqueness, originality, seeming like a human, and like this was not a mass-produced piece of outreach. Some sort of clear insight that they either understand my business or have at least taken a moment to see what my business actually truly really needs, as opposed to just like projecting what they want to sell me onto my business, and a clear sense that this person can make an offer that feels appealing to me, either in that initial outreach or later on. That's it. Those are the 5 things. If you can do all of that, you're like, that's literally what we, in our cold email outreach masterclass and the email outreach masterclass that we recorded separately for the 22-hour mega course, that's really most of what we're talking about, is how to be different, how to be relevant, how to stick out. Because if you're just doing the same things that everybody else is doing in cold outreach, guess what? Businesses get trained to ignore, like customers really, the same things that hit their inbox over and over and over again. So if you want those jobs, learn how to stand out. You, Maria, should not fear failing. Have I given you a spiel before? I feel like in one of our sessions we had this spiel before. Failure is such an amazing thing. Failure is so good because out of the crucible of failure, nothing is ever life-threatening. Nothing ever stops anybody from ever doing anything. And 3, now you get the chance to actually use your failures to learn more or to grow more. I have tried on this channel to share openly some of my failures along the way, things that I've botched, copy that has flopped. And what I've found is that there's no such thing as a failure that you can't recover from. And there's no such thing as a failure that you can't grow from. What that means is you have to sort of flip the script on failure. You have to see failure as a necessary precondition for success. The more failures you get, the more you're going to succeed, because you've learned more, you've done more, you've seen more. So, anyway. I actually, I just recorded a video with Mark Ford for a DIY wealth info product that we're doing. It's going to be like a coaching call with Mark and stuff like that for business owners and entrepreneurs and copywriters and marketers. And one of the introductory like welcome sequence videos for that, he talks about how fake it till you make it has been like the way that Mark has done stuff his whole life. So it sounds cliche, but it's very powerful. Oh yeah, SaaS businesses are terrible. Better copy, even the ones who are just started. Everyone already seems to have a good copywriter. Here's the thing with SaaS copy. The copy doesn't need to be very good to be very good, if that makes sense. You know, SaaS copy, like usually you're trying to solve a problem that people have. And that's, again, you're selling water to a thirsty audience. There's no easier copy to write than that. And so from that sort of basic point, once you learn how to sell water to a thirsty audience, like just tell people what they get and like tell the problems that it solves or the pain points that it removes. And then bingo bango, like that's the sort of baseline of good SaaS copy right there. And then the next level beyond that is learning how to either imply benefits in your features that you describe for a product, or learn how to spin features into benefits. And, you know, for SaaS, you don't really need to do this, but on occasion, it makes sense to spin benefits either into advantages over other products or benefits into deeper benefits. Very rare on SaaS pages, but it does happen. So here's the thing. With a SaaS business, like, think about what it takes to start a software company. It's not like an info product business. It's not like a coaching business or something like that, where it's like a person just starts like recording with their phone. It's not what we would call in entrepreneurship and business capitally intensive. And so since SaaS is a very capitally intensive business, that means they are usually starting their business with enough money to hire either an agency or a decent copywriter. And so if you want to get your foot in the door writing SaaS copy, maybe don't pitch SaaS businesses, pitch agencies that specialize in SaaS businesses. And, you know, what are good resources to do that? Look either at businesses and agencies and see like in their cred reel, like whom they've worked with. And then, okay, these are the people that work for that business. LinkedIn is really, really good for that. Yeah, like if you find inactive Facebook ads, like you can actually see the agency that ran the ad for the other business. So yeah, lots of opportunities to find those sorts of agencies and write for them. And it loves you. Where is the book? No Man's Niche. No Man's Niche, our book that we released a few years ago, is available on Amazon. I think it's like $20 or $30, but you get it for free if you are, I think, in either the Platinum Collection or the Copywriting Career Copilot. You definitely get it for free if you're a member of the Patreon. So there is that. This is the most backhanded compliment I've ever seen in my entire life. This dude's old, but at least he's still pretty funny to watch. Great. Thanks. Appreciate that. Is your mega course of 22 hours enough to start copywriting? No, because you actually have to do stuff after you watch the mega course, preferably while you're doing the mega course. Here's the thing, you can, I'm telling everybody right now, to the detriment of my own business, copy that, all of you can become a paid copywriter, marketer, creative strategist, content writer, all of it, without ever taking a free or paid course. It can happen. But what does it require? It requires you to understand business. It requires you to understand persuasion. It requires you to be able to write well for different people in different contexts at different times for different products in different niches. So really, the thing that will teach you how to do that the best are two things: studying copy that exists and learning from it, and trying to mimic it at first and then push the boundaries based on what you learn elsewhere later. And two, seeing data based on the copy that you put out into the world. Those are the two things that will teach you the most in this career. You do not need a course to do that. Now, if you want to potentially accelerate your learning and sort of like get some of the basics and fundamentals and things that you should be looking for and ways to sort of like methods that you can use to write that perhaps are pretty good, the mega course has you covered. All the fundamentals are there. We tried to think of our business as like a set of pyramid like layers, and like every copywriting business like reveals like different facets of the pyramid that is copywriting. We tried with the 22-hour mega course to provide the entire foundational layer. Again, it's still only the bottom of the pyramid. Like you can scale really far, and there's like way more advanced stuff above that. But in terms of like getting your foot in the door, getting started towards your career, we tried to do all of it in that one video. So let's see. As a beginner, what are all types of emails that I need to master? To master as a beginner, you will not master as a beginner. The moment that you become a master is the moment that you realize that you will never achieve mastery. Very Zen moment there, right there. Now, what types of emails should you become proficient in? That depends on the kinds of businesses you work for. If you are writing for businesses where the landing page copy is more like a sales letter or VSL and has a lot of persuasion, well, then you want to learn how to write lifts. Lifts are typically very short, punchy, very intrigue driven, but what they do not do is steal the persuasive power from the sales page you're linking to. They are simply designed to get people from their inbox to the landing page, to lift them to another place, if you will. Very, very valuable to learn. Sales emails, probably not very valuable at this point because, again, at that point, why not just put the sales email onto a page or into a Google Doc and link people there with a lift? Tends to work a little bit better. If you want to write for e-com businesses, you either need to learn how to write your sort of standard like plain text emails, like case studies are really good. Welcome sequences can be pretty helpful. Post-purchase sequences are pretty good to learn. But I don't think beginners really need to worry about that. And also, like, if you have the basics of copy under your belt, all that is going to be way easier to do anyway. Value emails are like, how do I say? And by value emails, I mean like the whole gamut, like newsletters, content, like personal missives, I guess. Stuff that like Dan Throssell does on one side versus stuff like that like Morning Brew does on another side. Like that all sort of like falls under the value email umbrella because it's content with a marketing intent, but content, like stuff that you can get value from. And so like, because there are so many different sub niches within value emails, like that is a tough row to hoe, but like learning the kinds of value emails that work really well for the businesses that you want to work for, really valuable. But like, say for example, you want to write for clothing companies. Let's just be real for a moment. Do you need an essay, like a 1,000-word essay on like how to match styles to the season? That could be a value email, but also like, would that really improve sales or deliverability? Probably not. Probably better is to just have a sort of like graphically based like lift type of email that shows the products, has a few taglines that say this season's styles are in, and then show a bunch of like discounts that people can use to buy the things that they would want to buy to get that benefit. So again, being strategic in your thinking, and really what it comes down to is looking at the businesses you want to write for and studying the kinds of emails that they typically use to drive sales for their business. Sorry, long answer for a simple question. Let's see. Skipping. Maria, if you ever need a pick me up, I will always be glad to give you that the failure spiel. I've read your shit. You're better than you think you are. This is a very good mindset. I appreciate that. Oh, best channels. Trade shows, ads in trade magazines, sometimes PPC, but really like going to these businesses. And sometimes I've walked into businesses and just had a conversation. I've had actual contractors in my house and be like, I do this. And they're like, oh my God, like I've been struggling with that. And then a simple conversation becomes like, can I pay you to like look at my landing page? My wife, Kaylee, like I taught her copywriting like 6 or 7 months ago. She started like really actively like learning copywriting from me and like trying to do it. And like she already has multiple clients that she's working with and like killing it. But one of her first clients was like, there was an arborist, like literally a tree cutter with like a local Instagram page. And she just spoke to him. And then that became like marketing materials that she made for this dude. It all starts from a conversation, especially like local service businesses. Like those are the way that those businesses make a lot of money long term is through relationships. And so they're going to naturally respect people who try to build those relationships with them as well, the same way that they do, because that's the type of business that they want. That's why so many service. I actually just had an interview, podcast interview with John Caprani yesterday, where we talked about this. Where it's like, you know, if you try to approach a plumber with like this sort of standard like marketing gimmicks, like, oh, you know, like this many things for this much stuff, I'll triple your business, and like, you know, and I'll give you 180% guarantee and stuff like that. Like most plumbers would be like, no, thank you. But if you go to them and just like have a conversation about like getting the phone call to ring just a little bit more, that's more than enough, because that's what they want. You know, most of them don't want a big business. You know, managing a team of plumbers like to cover a region, they don't want that. So things to keep in mind. There you go. In person and on the phone below that. And then in person can be either at their place of work, in places of business, or just where they congregate. And that's typically trade shows, but not always. Let's see. Okay, lots of stuff. So my suggestion generally is watch the mega course. One of the things that we had to cut from the mega course was a section on what books people should read. But in the mega course, if you actually go to the top comment, the pinned comment, and then expand that, not only will you see the table of contents of like what's in the mega course with timestamps, at the very bottom, I actually put all the sources that we used for the mega course. So if you want a list of books, either one, go on our YouTube and look for the video that we made about the books that we recommend. Two, our website has a list of books that we recommend. But three, if you're on the mega course already, just go to the top comment and like read where we listed out the books that like inspired and informed the thinking that went into the mega course. So my general sense is that you should read maybe 2 books, but then pivot from theory into like practice, and like studying copy, and that you're going to get more out of that. But once you start to hit a plateau and you're learning from copy, then it makes sense to read like another book, because you learn things in theory from the book, and you're like, oh my God, that reminds me of this one sales letter that I read and I didn't pick up on what it was doing. And that's typically how that works. Let's see. I'm trying to pitch onboarding email sequences to SaaS owners using the DM script I sent in Discord a few months ago, which my friend used, but I don't know what these business owners would find more valuable, which I can provide. So, I mean, let's talk for a moment about why does a SaaS business need an onboarding sequence? Okay. There's onboarding sequences for free leads, which has variable utility for a business. You have to do a lot of selling. And typically what you do is better to just use a sort of finite sales sequence for that. But if you are like talking to people that have bought the product, there's a natural and easy argument there that you can make as somebody who's pitching that service, which is most SaaS businesses don't have very good retention. People pay for like 1 month and then either stop using it, get confused by it, or cancel it immediately. And so what does a good onboarding sequence do for paid customers? It helps keep people on and helps hold their hand so that you can continue to make money. I'm sure there's so many studies and so much research that has already been done on like why people quit confusing technological and software-based products. Weave that into your proof. Now, if you're using a DM script, I have mixed feelings about DM-based outreach. I think it was the hot tactic du jour, but I think that it's mostly being taught now because it's stopped working for the people that teach it. Like any tactic, it just, the more people use it, the more it wears off quickly because people are like, oh, hey, you're doing that thing that I recognize that I don't like. and that's how tactics die. And so if you want to make a bunch of money as a copywriter, of course, is like discover a new tactic, make a course around it, and then once your tactic stops working, sell the course or make the YouTube video, whatever. So your mileage may vary if you change the channel and where you approach people. Copy still has a future as a service. Yeah, I literally was just on a podcast talking about that today with Matt Volkwin. Good channel. Everybody should check it out. Yeah, copy still has a future as a service. In fact, a new study just came out within the last few weeks that showed that AI adoption at large firms is actually going down. Over the last 3 months, the usage of AI by businesses has been decreasing, not increasing. Noodle on that for a little bit. What do I recommend doing after the mega course? I think I've already answered this question a little bit earlier, but it's like put stuff into practice. Like there is a section of the mega course where I talk about the daily practice and like how you should divide your days. If you divide your days that way and then engage in the daily practice, you're actually going to really level up really freaking quickly, like without many other resources like that you need to absorb. And because of what we recommend in the latter sections of the mega course is like, divide your day where 25% of it is based on upskilling. That could be reading a book. That could be watching taking a course. That could be watching a YouTube video, things like that. There's obviously stuff like they can fill in the details and help people like in our channel and things like that. But at the end of the day, what you are going to get the most benefit from is going to be studying copy and studying marketing and how businesses acquire or monetize those customers. If you can figure that out, like you don't need any other resources. You just spend time looking at businesses and being like, how does this business make money? And then do some research. Let's see. I love my answers take long enough that Aaron has been answering people for me in the chat, so I appreciate that. Definitely don't phrase it like that. They'll think that you intend something else. I was just talking to somebody about like how Daniel in his upsell, like the third upsell, he's just like, we're just getting started. And this person was like, oh, Daniel, I got throttled. You got me. And he ended up spending like $5,000 on Dan's stuff. And yeah, I do agree with this, despite being a crappy analogy. Okay, Aaron, you were the only person who left any more comments. Yeah, I think that's everything. Unless anybody has any more questions, I am going to film a couple of video intros for a project that I'm working on, and then I need to go do stuff. But I might Uber Eats lunch. So if you guys want any stuff, yeah, ask me questions while I delete that. The answer is no. How do I put this? If your goal as a copywriter is to work part-time, one, you're probably not going to get a job. Two, you're probably not going to be very successful. Like, let's just be real. The copywriters who actually do make money, they don't work 9 to 5. They're working, 48 hours at a stretch on a project. No sleep. Truth hurts. In-house part-time positions available. Man, that is not the appropriate mindset to take into this particular field or career. Yes, Squiggly Bork merch is coming out. I sell Squiggly Borks, the t-shirt. Yes. I got my first job as a part-time proofreader at a info publishing business, and I had so much free time, even working part-time, that I just ended up writing content like for their newsletters, and that's how I got promoted like within 2 months. True story. You should sleep and then wake up early before anybody else, and then write a piece of copy. You should ideally write 250 to 500 words before you have any breakfast. Drink like a glass of water. Don't eat anything. Literally just roll out of bed, start writing 250 to 500 words, and then eat, and then go back later and revise. Let's see. Uber Eats. Let's see. See you later. See you tomorrow during the incubator. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of a poke bowl. I think I'm going to do a poke bowl. Oh, shawarma is really good, but that's too heavy, too greasy right now. It's hot. What's the fastest that I can get it? That's not bad. Ooh. Under 30 minutes. I want best overall. I don't need a buy one, get one free offer for poke. It's ridiculous. I don't need a poke bowl from the most expensive restaurant in Del Rey. Ooh, maybe I'll get Vietnamese food. The only time I've ever gotten horrible food poisoning from fast food in my entire life was from a Popeyes. I tried to eat one of their popcorn chicken bowls. Did not settle well. Let's see. Teriyaki Express. Yeah, go watch Matthew. Volquin stuff. Like that channel is going to blow up at some point once he figures out the YouTube game. Like his channel is going to go whoop, because he and I share very many similar sensibilities about how copywriting should be presented in the public and what, like, how you need to front load value to people. And he just hasn't figured out like the tagging, the titling, the thumbnailing game, the presentation of content game, which took me a long time. It took me 5 fucking years to do it. And yeah, so he's going to be an up and comer. And he also just gets the best guests. Oh my God. The only way to get better at speaking is to speak publicly more frequently. I know that is hard to like reconcile with, but the way that I've gotten better on camera at speaking to the black mirror that is a camera, I was just doing it. I'm doing it like, go watch my earlier videos. They suck. They're terrible. And so getting comfortable with it is a mere exposure thing. So as you do it more, again, as you fail more, you will learn more. Jason Fladline, his book One to Many has made me so much money. Like I learned so much from that book. Yeah, again, I have mixed feelings about DMs in general. Let's see. Ooh, I'm going to get a beef teriyaki bowl. Add chicken to that. Let's do beverages. Beverages available. Bottled water. Let's see. Yeah, same. Absolutely the same. What should I say or do when I start feeling overwhelmed and I don't know what to say or what to do next while talking to a client? Goodness. Well, if you do not have a written out or sort of noted down like agenda to talk to the client, one of the things that I typically do is sort of turn it back on them. And I'm sure you've seen me do this during the boot camps or the incubators where I'll say like, now, what questions do you have for me at this particular juncture? What are the things that you're thinking about? What are the problems that you're having? That works in some situations, not all of them, but like usually just saying like using now instead of or now, and then asking a question. That typically gives them space to sort of like steer the conversation where they want to go. And if you feel like you're overwhelmed and that you've lost sort of control of the reins a little bit, let them take control a little while. They'll be happy to do it. They'll feel better about you because you've done that. And then over time, as you sort of regain your composure, you take the reins back and you steer it where you want it to go. So that's one particular method. But another thing too there is, Maria, I don't know if you do this, but one thing that I've heard suggested, I've never done this myself because I've never had to deal with this, is I've heard people who like will record their conversations, get them transcribed, and then try to find the moment, like, either by taking note of the timestamp or what have you, taking note of the moment that they feel overwhelmed or like confused or like anxious, and then looking and seeing like, well, what was the trigger for that? What was the trigger for that? You look at 5 of these conversations you have and you identify the triggers. Guess what? You're going to notice a pattern. Once you learn the pattern, once you learn how to recognize the pattern, once you diagnose something, it's at that point that you're able to actually solve the problem. Because what if the issue, the feeling of overwhelm might actually come not from, the client, but from rather something that you said or did? Okay, well, how do you change that? How do you alter something such that you don't do that again? What if, you have different clients and they're all sort of saying the same thing or asking the same question, and every single time that question gets asked, it makes you feel overwhelmed? Well, how do you put into place a system for answering that particular set of questions or variations thereof? Again, being, that's all stuff that is more geared towards like people with a marketing kind of intelligence than a copywriting kind of intelligence, like testing things, iterating, looking at data, and then changing what you do based on that data. If you can do that with your own interactions with clients, I've typically found that has helped people who have talked about that before. So I hope that helps you. I also think it's pretty small. The SaaS market, it does have a lot of money, but I saw there are only 30,000 current businesses in the market, but it's growing fast. SaaS is huge, man. SaaS is immense. There are lots of opportunities, and there are lots of like agencies that serve the SaaS market. Only the case if your pitches are bad. Can we learn how to start copywriting professionally through these free videos? I already answered this question. Give us a full roadmap from zero to hero. I feel like I've already done that like multiple times, like in the stream. Like, are you like dipping in and then like asking a question and then leaving while I answer it and then coming back to ask the same question? Like, just rewind. Go back to the 2 times that I've answered this. So I gave you the full roadmap from zero to hero. And like, if you want like that accelerated like course, in addition to the 22-hour mega course, I did another video like how to get good at copywriting so fast it feels illegal, where I literally sort of like added notes and commentary to Gary Halbert's plan for getting, successful as a copywriter, world class as a copywriter in 30 days. And that plan is roughly pretty good, but it also maps pretty cleanly onto the mega course as well. And it provides a good thing to, set of things to do once you are done with the mega course if you want more direction there. So zero to hero, here's what typically happens. Person learns about copywriting. Person starts watching videos or reading books about copywriting. Person doesn't start practicing copywriting or reading copy. Instead, they get into this endless doom cycle loop of like wanting inspiration, but also dreading the work. And so they just keep seeking more books and more inspiration, more courses and things like that. And they never actually become copywriters. If you are able to break out of that or never avoid it in the first place, typically what happens is they practice. They will typically either handwrite copy at first, long form old school direct response sales letters, or they'll start practicing pieces. And then they'll like get feedback on them from peers. And then like once they stop learning from that, they'll get pay for mentorship of some kind, or they'll take like a paid course and oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. And then sort of like modify their practice pieces from there. Once they feel satisfied with their practice pieces, they'll start doing outreach. They'll start using the work that they did for practice as samples of what they're capable of as a proof point, since they lack past experience, that they can do the job for businesses. And then usually what happens is you only need like 1 or 2 businesses that you have success with for the line to start going up pretty rapidly. And the reason for that is because like, well, now you have proof. Even if you did a job for only $5, if it like helped a business do like accomplish something, you're good. You're Gucci. You're fine. So there you go. Zero to hero, like, here's the thing. Like, as I described that step, I did not mention the fact that along the way there was like 7 or 8 forking paths, different things that you could do, different ways that you can approach things. Like, I think one of the issues, real talk with you guys, since you've been hanging out with me with Alex for 2 hours and then me for an hour. We put out a survey. We asked people, what do they want? As expected, everybody wants more videos about client outreach, even though literally everything that you need to become a master of client outreach is in our free and paid stuff. Done. Like, the problem that people have is that they just don't fucking listen to us or do the things that we tell them to do, or think about the things that, incorporate into their outreach the things that we recommend. They write the same 7 templated scripts that they got help from AI with and wonder why they're not succeeding. And so that's kind of the state. And so, like, I have this sort of problem with the notion of doing more client outreach videos, especially the request of like, hey, show us this one person, like show a newbie like how they got a client. I'm like, here's what that's going to do. Do you remember earlier when I mentioned that there was this sort of doom loop where you get inspired by a piece of media and then you continue to progressively watch more and more of the same shit? That's what those videos will do. They won't actually teach you how to get clients. They won't give you any sort of insights that you can't get elsewhere. What they will do is be like, oh my God, I feel motivated and inspired. If that person can do it, surely I can do it. And then you'll watch another video rather than like doing the hard work of like standing out, being different, being relevant to the businesses you're trying to pitch. And so I don't want to make that kind of content because I actually think that it's like selling drugs. Like, I literally, all that would do is boost our viewers on YouTube, and I don't want that. Like, I want good, smart people to watch our shit and grow and get money and then learn from us and possibly work with us. And the problem with most newbie, like, focus, like, here's how this person got 18 clients after working for 6 months, is there's not a whole lot of actionable stuff there because, like, let's be real for a moment. And this is something that a lot of people don't think about. There is no one path into copywriting. There is no singular blueprint thing that everybody should do to get into copywriting. There are those many gardens of forking paths along the way. Every single person professionally working in this business got their clients, got their work a different way. Sure, some of them use cold outreach, but I will guarantee you that the outreach that worked for them probably does not look the same. Or the clients that they reached out to don't look the same. Or their background doesn't look the same. Or their, when they got on the call, their pitch was not the same. There's no one way. There's no one path. And anybody who says otherwise is lying to you. Or selling you something. I have something to sell you, but I'm saying don't buy it. Just get better at writing copy, and that will solve 80% of your problems. Anyway. That's actually a good question. So in this particular situation, one thing that's really worked for me is that's a very interesting question. I'm going to have to think about that for a moment and get back to you. Let me look into my data and my swipe file and reach out to some other people I know so that I can give you a better answer. That's it. Literally just make your, hey, I'm not sure, I have a few thoughts, but I don't want to just fire from the hip. I want to make sure that you get the best answer possible. Turn it into a benefit. So I feel like that would be a fun, like, VC or fun incubator would be like, a client call, like a client pitch. And then sort of play act some of this stuff. It can't be me doing it though, because I would try to like throw too many curveballs at people. I'd be like the end boss. Let's see. I'm scrolling through questions right now, just making sure that I'm seeing everything. You know, let me put it this way. I actually have somebody in the incubator right now who applied for a boot camp with one of the largest financial publishers in the world, and he got in. But the owner of that boot camp reached out to me and was like, "What do you think about this dude?" And I was like, "He's very good." And we had a sort of back and forth. And one of the things that we sort of talked about is like, even at the higher levels, like, this is 6 or 7 years ago at this point, but like, Ben Ogren, like he was 18 when he first started writing for Agora, and he became a senior copywriter by the time he was like 2021. Sometimes lightning strikes. Will it strike for you? Chances are no. Let's just be real for a moment. Like, for most people, they simply either are not willing or do not have what it takes to be very, very good. I don't know you. I don't know what you're capable of. I don't know your work ethic. I don't know what you're willing to put in. But I do know with like Ben's case, like while he was in high school, he was like taking up door-to-door selling jobs. He was like literally reading direct response books. He was studying copywriting while he was 16, 17. So when he turned 18 and he was like brought into this boot camp and like made a copywriter, like he already had years of experience like behind him. But that's not going to be different from an 18-year-old and a 40-year-old. A 40-year-old who wants to break into this business is going to have to do the exact same things. So what jobs can you do? You can do all of them. Can you get rich doing those jobs? Some of them, maybe. Will you get them? I don't know. Depends on what you've done. Depends on what you're willing to do. Not necessarily. It really depends on the people you're talking to. Like for example, like I secured it was like a $12,000 agency client a few months ago, and the person straight up asked me, like I was in a meeting with like 7 of their team. And they were like, "So what sort of outcome? Like what can we expect to get from the system that you have?" And I said, "I'll be completely honest with you. I have no idea, but we're all going to learn something together." I got the deal. Why in secret? It's not in secret. It's thumbnail headline. It's copy. What are the most common mistakes to try avoiding as a beginner? I would need more context. With outreach, that's a whole set. With writing, that's a whole set. With learning, that's a whole other set of problems and mistakes too. I will need more clarification before I can answer that. Well, yeah. I mean, if you offered to write something for me for free, I'd probably say no to you too. And the reason why is because I know that I can also produce what you can produce for free as quickly as I wanted, and I won't have to pay anybody, and I know that it'll be better. So what if your clients are like thinking the same thing? Listen, like free is good, but also free comes with a hidden cost. Say you write, I don't know, an email. And what if your email sucks? What if the email you wrote for a business just really friggin' like it just ripped a fart on the page? It just sucks. Well, you just send that to 50 businesses who looked at your little fart email and they're like, well, of course I don't want to run this. I don't want to use this. And you're going in your head like, but it was free. And business is going like, I don't care if it's free. Garbage on the street is free too. That doesn't mean I want it. So you have to make sure that the value that you're offering is actually something that the people want, something that they're asking for. Spec pieces are pretty good for that. I have a whole free masterclass on that. Hey, I just provided free value for you and a CTA, a thing that you can do to actually learn it. And it's going to actually help you improve. Oh, I think that you're starting to learn the difference between the free value that most copywriters give and the free value that I just offered you. Hey, here's an easy thing that will allow you to learn a particular thing that will benefit you with little risk, very little time, and obviously no cost. And it's not going to affect your business in a negative way because you're not the one who has to run the email. It's just a video that you have to watch. Oh, look at that. I just did what's called risk reversal and removing friction. That's all stuff that you can do in your outreach too. You just have to learn how to do it and practice it. We have so many videos about that, but why don't you just start with your Facebook feed? What are the ads that you read in the last 2 weeks where you were actually thought about buying a thing? If you are scrolling Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, take a moment and be like, is this good? Do I like this? And if the answer is sort of like bends towards yes, read more. Click on it. Click on the next page. Maybe buy it. Read their emails that they send you. All of a sudden, you've just literally done funnel hacking by you like literally asking your own internal intrinsic sense of what could be good. Really? You're asking this now? It's like magic. So Maria, we didn't do this for your boot camp, but we've done this for the Incubator and for the copywriting boot camp. The first thing that I have everybody do is read the book Obvious Atoms. It's free. It's in the public domain. Go read Obvious Atoms. The answer to most people's problems is usually the most obvious thing. But because we have so many layers of bullshit on our face, it's hard for us to see, like, what is the most obvious thing? And so, yeah. Just, again, do the most obvious thing. And usually that will work. Yeah, I know. I'm a baldy. Crap. He called me out. Damn it. It's true. I have no comment on all of this. So in this particular instance, you're on hard mode. Like, here's the thing, and I was saying this to the 18-year-old before. Like, some people doing this kind of work, wanting this kind of work, you're just on hard mode. If English is your second language, if you're in a foreign country, or even worse, a foreign country with sanctions on it, or with like no easy, swift banking access. If you're young, like, you're just on hard mode. It doesn't mean it's impossible. I was just talking to a friend of mine. He's in India and he's doing $30,000 a month working with local Indian businesses in a city in, I think, the Gujarat province, somewhere in there. Yeah, and so like I've worked with a Nigerian. All he had was an Android phone, and like literally he learned how to write long form financial copy from his Android phone, and he actually wrote promos for like direct response financial businesses. He started with an Android phone. So like all of these things are obstacles. All these things create hard mode. If you're experiencing hard mode, nobody is going to come and offer you an easy hack or easy way to overcome these things. These are just things that you, by sheer accident of your birth, unfortunately will have to deal with and overcome. It sucks. Life is not fair. I'm sorry. Without internet access, I don't know what you're going to do. Local businesses, maybe. Reaching out to local businesses, meeting people, networking locally. That works. I know that works. I've done it. The most successful newbie that I've ever helped mentor or train That's what he did. He never did any cold outreach. All he did was just meet people, talk about their problems, and then try to solve them. That's it. And his business has been growing and growing and growing. And like this year, that's what he's done. So if copywriting is what you want to do, you're going to have to find sources of copywriting to study, modes of practice, things that you have to do in order to practice, and then you're going to have to find clients that you can pitch to. And if your limitation is internet, a lack of internet, even though you're literally watching a live stream right now, then you're going to have to find IRL, in real life, analogs to that. Go to a library, local library, read the magazines, read the ads. There are probably going to be books on copywriting at your local library. They're free. Good job. And so that is a good start. And then also your local library, depending on where you are in the world, will be able to give you internet access that you can use. So definitely things that you can do. But again, the answer to most of these questions, these like, hey, I have this problem, how do I do this thing? The answer is usually do the same things that everybody else is doing, but also like figure out creative and inventive ways to overcome your particular set of problems. It's true. It is true. I think that one or two people might have gotten into the 12, people that I'd had some sort of influence on, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So I'm at the studio right now, and the studio has not so great internet access. Pretty slow, and so it's Comcast. It's wonky. Most common learning mistakes. Yeah, I described one earlier. One is getting caught in the info loop, like studying theory, watching videos over and over again, when what you really should be doing is studying and practicing copy. How can I overcome analysis paralysis? I would need to, well, one, stop smoking so much weed, and two, like, find some sort of like personal reset button for you. Maybe that's a hard workout or a jog or something like that. But three, like, what has always worked for me, especially when it comes to like thinking about what should go onto a page, I'm just silly. I'm just like, okay, what would be the worst way to sell this thing? What would be the worst angle to take? What would be the most ridiculous thing that I could say right now to like get started? Because then you start doing that and you start writing. Oh, and all of a sudden you have momentum. And all of a sudden the writing becomes very serious. And here's a cool thing. When you're done and you've written, oh, this is pretty decent, except for the beginning where I was just being silly, you go back and change the beginning. Done. The thing with analysis paralysis is that you get caught into a spiral of thought that prevents action. And the anxiety that arises from that, well, the answer to anxiety is usually action. So just do anything that you have to do to take action. Yeah, I would agree. I had a good writing. You want to see, huh? I'm confused. Though, if you're phrasing things that way, I'm going to press X to doubt that the writing is good. What was the most interesting copy I've written in the past 2 months? Oh my God. I actually wrote a chapter in a book that we're selling in Japan about, I mean, there's just too much to describe here. But anyway, so I had to basically build an entirely new mechanism, an entirely new model to assess certain kinds of stocks that we were talking about in that particular thing. And to build the model, what I actually did was sort of narrate my own process of building the model in this chapter. And what I did was I combined what I learned from like Mark Ford's books and like several other books to effectively create a sort of like qualitative set of criteria that I could quantify with like publicly available data. And then like using that mechanism and system to actually describe like then to back test things using that system and finding like, oh snap, actually this did actually make money, and then finding the proof for that and like weaving it all together, like that was a lot of hard work, but that was the, for me, most interesting piece of copy that I've written in the past 2 months. I'm gonna check on my Uber Eats. Hold on. Let's see. Where's my food? Oh, it's on the way. It's going to be here in 2 minutes. All right. That's the end. Bro, there's plenty. There's tons. The problem with, listen, like I grew up in a part of Los Angeles where I grew up knowing a lot of people from Pakistan and from India. And so, and ever since I've gotten online and started doing this copywriting education thing, I've interacted with a lot of people from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India. And what I've discovered is that there's almost like a disdain for working for other, like Pakistanis working for other Pakistanis, Indians working for other Indians. And like, so like one of the pieces of advice I give is for people to work in-house or work for an agency for a little bit and like learn the ropes and then like use that cred to like leverage and leap off into their career. And the usual response I get is like, but the pay here is really bad. And I'm like, the pay is really bad in America for entry-level jobs too. That's not the point of an entry-level job. The point of an entry-level job is to get the experience so that you can leverage it up into better opportunities later. But, you know, listen, India is probably going to be the #1 economy within the next 50 years. And in my opinion, I think that people would be really well suited to like getting in on the ground floor of that. Yeah, there's just going to be so much money to be made in India. It's going to be huge, huge amounts of money. And I think that too many Indians are too reluctant to try to write for Indian markets. They're just too reluctant. Oh, they don't know what copywriting is. Like, of course, nobody knows what copywriting is. That's, they're unaware. You have to phrase it as something else, like growth strategist for local businesses or something like that. You have to use your copywriting to sell copywriting to local businesses that are not aware of copywriting. So India, huge opportunity. Not enough people realize it. And certainly not the people that are obsessed with writing for American markets. Anyway, dollars converted from rupees. So it's like lakhs. I don't know what a lakh to dollar conversion is. Thank you. Yeah, listen, most of the problems that people have are usually writing related. All right, my food is here. I will see you all later. Have a wonderful day. Good luck. And dream.